What?
Hey, artist.
We can hear you. You do have sound now.
I can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Jennifer?
Okay, well, we can all hear you.
How about that? Still hear me?
We can still hear you. Yes.
How about that? All right, I'm in.
Okay.
She's in. All right.
Now that's dedication.
All right. So like I said, you guys have all looked at the maps, watched the video, gone over the recap, and realized that this is a terrible, terrible situation that you guys have found in. And we just to go around, Phineas is invisible.
I thought somebody cast a I'm screwed spell.
I think you were invisible.
Yeah,
oh, that's right. But Leonard.
That was me.
I'm sorry.
Beltran.
Beltran.
I help out that way.
You can be seen. However, so I'm going to take that off if you're.
All you have
Only
to do
if
is
you're
go,
next to Beltran, which you are right
if
now.
you go outside the red area, then you're invisible again.
Oh.
He doesn't see. He can't see the red area. Hold on. Let's make sure.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Real quick. Cass brought home some dinner for me. I got to step away. And if I'm not back, I'm going to be casting cure or remove blindness, I guess, from Llama.
Okay.
It's not blindness.
It is. She's blind, as is Sven.
Yeah,
from
it is.
Glitter Dust.
But is it that type of blindness?
It's a magical spell that induces blindness.
Remove blindness removes magical.
Now,
Okay.
to Don's point, it is magical blindness. However, I would point out to you, Doug, that they do get saving throws every round to try and wipe the glitter out of their eyes.
Well, again,
But it's a will save. She's never going to do it.
Yeah, it's not a barbarian's favorite.
Yes, that's not one of their.
anyway, that's what I'm doing. I'll be back.
All right, we'll come back to it. So Phineas is looking around, and time comes to a stop as he looks at the situation that's around. It's almost Phineas is looking in slow motion as he looks at everywhere. He's facing forward, and Sven, who's by the first he looks across the little stone bridge, the stone arch over where Sven is. Sven's got his bow in his hand, but he's got his other hand. He's dropped an arrow to the ground. He's got his other hand, and he's desperately wiping this golden and silvery substance away from his eyes. And you can see he's kind of like blinking his eyes and trying to throw out. And then behind him, on the top of the thing, unbeknownst to him, another one of these giant cats leaps to the top of the wagon, looking down on him as it enters the invisibility perch and materializes into sight this evil-looking cat, which appears to be the animated skeleton covered in thinly stretched fur of a huge fanged cat with the bones visible underneath, glowing with fire and smoke coming off of them as it just looks down and gets ready to pounce on Sven. Snapper, your eyes go 5 degrees to the right. And you see Snapper. You can see he's got his holy symbol out and his mace in the other hand, and he's looking around, trying to decide what to do. His eyes light on Kazir. Then they go to Llama. Then they turn around and go to Sven, and he's like, you see him lifting his holy symbol to the sky as he begins mouthing the words to some sort of spell. Llama, her scimitar in her hand, it's pointed at the ground as she's rubbing her orcish meaty forearms across her eyes, trying desperately to get the same golden particles out of her eyes so that she can see. There's tears running down them as her eyes desperately water to try and get the material out of her. Over by the edge of the thing, your eyes kind of click over to another 10 degrees. Here on the ground, he's got one hand on the cat's throat, trying to keep the cat from its fangs coming down on his face. You can see and hear the click of these fangs. It's like as it tries to bite him on the face, and the claws behind raking at Kazir's midsection, his armor torn open, blood welling up from what looks to be just an absolutely horrendous wound in his midsection. And you feel like you possibly see part of his guts coming out, entrails and stuff beginning to emerge from the, being fully packed behind the muscle of his abdominal wall, and now beginning to burst out into the air. Nolan behind him with one eye on the cat, sort of, backing away, but reaching down to try and grab Kazir's arm and maybe drag him away before it's too late. And then behind you, you look around and you see Leonard, who is just drawing back his hands after casting the glitter dust spell, and the enormity of his mistake is registering on his face. Mouth dropping open, his eyes widening as he sees not only the second cat, but the Sven then completely at the cat's mercy. And Lama, who had gone over to try and attack the other cat, now basically stopped in her tracks. And Beltran behind you, holding up on one hand his bow and magical force emanating out of him in a big sphere that seems almost palpable to your eyes. And you can see that as the cat that's about to attack Sven jumped on the thing, you can see it sort of pass through the edge of that sphere and materialize out of nothingness. And then deep in the distance, as you look past all of this carnage that's frozen in time, you look past the wagon, down the road, and you see nothing except for what looks to be some sort of movement, perhaps another 40, 50 feet down the road, passing in front of one of the broken Corinthian columns that lay on the ground, like the
it's an ancient old dragon just bent on helping people, right?
Like the camouflage armor of the Predator in the original Predator movie, where you could see it sort of like kind of go across and then nothing. And suddenly, time begins to restart, and you're back in the moment, and you hear the yells, you hear the screams of the cats as they attack. You hear Lama, I can't say, and Leonard going, no, and everything comes back into sharp focus as the battle recommences.
Woot.
And we slide at this point into initiative. And Snapper is first. He has declared that he is going to cast Cure Blindness on Lama. And Don, you confirm that?
Do I confirm that?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
As a witness to
as rules lawyer,
as the second official rules lawyer, he casts Cure Blindness on Lama. So let's just see. I think Lama gets a saving throw if she wants it. Remove blindness. Here we go. Fortitude negates. If you want, or you can, Lama, you can waive the save.
Yeah, I'm gonna waive the save.
All right. So you see Snapper reach out. He pulls his hand down, reaches out, and grabs hold of Lama's shoulder, and you can see the particles begin flying out of her eyes. And Lama, your vision has returned, and you can see, and you see everything around you. You are not blind anymore from the glitter dust.
And she looks around and says, oh my gosh, put it back.
Oh my God, put it back. Nolan, it's your turn.
See these cats? Can we see these cats now?
The ones the ones inside the red circle are both visible and covered in glitter dust. So you can see them both.
Then we know there's more coming.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's more coming.
As a free action, I'm going to yell to Sven to tell him that there's one right behind him, hoping that he can at least move out of the way, because I can tell he's still blinded, I'm assuming.
He is. You can see him wiping his eyes. He's got his bow down.
Yeah. And I'll get to him as soon as I can, and then I'm going to attack the one that's on Kazir.
Okay.
But that's going to take a second because I'm still struggling with technical difficulties here in the world of Jennifer and work. So I'll be with you with those rolls in a second.
All right. It's not your turn, so that's okay. You got some time.
I'm so sorry.
Did I say no? Did I say Lama? I meant Nolan.
I'm sorry.
I thought I said Nolan.
You might have. I might have misheard. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So when it's my turn, you'll see those rolls come up. Okay, Matt.
Okay, Gordon, you're up.
Okay, yeah, that's a Cure Serious for Kazir.
Cure Serious for Kazir, okay.
2 points.
22 points.
And I can't do anything besides that. I'm I've got my spear. I'm at a good distance. I can actually threaten that cat for Llama to attack when she does.
Okay, to enable Llama to get
Aid.
flanking.
Yep, flanking.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm done, and I'm not moving anymore.
Okay.
The spear has reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
I could use a
Okay.
spear.
It's a long spear like a pike.
It's a long spear. Okay.
Yep.
Kazir. Now you are pinned at this point and prone with the cat is still on you. Now you felt this energy flow into you, but from the point of view of getting out, you have to try, if you're going to try and get out from under this cat, you have to break the grapple. And let's go to the deck.
And that's CM.
Well, it's CMD, and pinned, it's CMD plus 5, I believe.
So yeah, you use your CMB, roll and add to it, and then you're trying to beat the cat's CMD plus 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is not going to be easy.
Because this cat's probably a monk.
20.
That's not going to be enough. You remain pinned by the cat, and the cat continues to snap at you. You've got your hand up, and it's snapping at your face. Even though your wounds have healed, or at least partially healed, you're still losing a lot of blood, and frankly, the strange feeling of having your entrails exposed to open air is kind of unnerving.
Happens to the best of us.
Even though it's knit back, the muscles have knit back over the top of them due to Nolan's efforts.
Yeah, it kind of tickles a little bit.
Yeah, it feels like it's butterflies. Phineas, and then Sven.
So I'd like to do I don't think we had time to do any knowledge checks, but I'd like to find out if I can determine what these are and what their weaknesses are.
Okay. What kind of knowledge check are you going to do? Now, let me re-describe these creatures to you.
Okay.
They are eerie beasts that appear to be at first skeletons with some sort of skin stretched over them. But you can see that they have huge fangs. Their bones are glowing underneath this tightly stretched skin. And they seem to be glowing almost like a flame style glow. It's reddish orange from underneath. And the smoke, this kind of like ethereal smoke is pouring off.
So I'm guessing Arcana, maybe?
Okay.
With, I don't know.
Unless probably Dungeoneering or.
No, you could try Arcana.
Well, I've got a higher bonus at Dungeoneering.
Dungeoneering is kind of one we use as a kind of catch-all.
All right, then good. I'll do that.
No.
20.
20. Okay, so you're not entirely sure what exactly they are, but in your readings, you've read stories about creatures and that stalk the hells, the 9 hells, that are sometimes described as cats made of smoke.
I can't talk at all, Deb. I'm so, oh, girl, I'm just, I'm midnight.
Go ahead and take care of that for him. So these are cats made of smoke, or sometimes they're referred to in the old text as cats of fire, or slit-eyed devils of smoke, that kind of thing. Based on that recollection, you suspect that these might be some sort of, I don't know, devil cat of some kind? You're not sure. But they do seem reminiscent of these descriptions that you've read in books about creatures of the hells.
Okay, so I will relay that. Just shout out, hey, guys, I think these are devil cats and some sort of smoke manifestation. And can I tell if they're blinded by the Studio 54 glitter?
They do not seem to be blinded. In fact, you can see the ones that are inside the invisibility purge circle. You can see their eyes, these big reddish cat eyes. I mean, they're big eyes, and they're looking right at the target. So they don't seem to be impacted in the same way that Lama and Sven were.
Okay.
Although they are covered with this glitter. They are covered with this silver gold.
All right, so they're David Bowie's pets, and I'll try to. I don't know if they're hypnotizable or charmable, but let's see. I'm going to try to. Hypnotize them.
Okay. So you're going to.
They have to see you, or can they just hear you?
I think they have to see him. Hold on, let me check. Hey, we muted you. Sorry. You're back.
That's okay. Was I unmuted? Oh, geez.
I muted you because you were having a work conversation.
I had no idea.
It wasn't anybody's business, frankly.
You know what? I'm gonna change my. I'm gonna try to blind this kitty here.
Okay. So you're casting blindness, deafness.
Yes. And it's a DC 16.
Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. That's a DC 16 fort save. Let me check and see if they have any spell resistance. They do have spell resistance. Okay, so they have spell resistance. So they have a spell resistance number, and you have to beat that spell resistance. You have to roll a DC 20 plus your caster level, and it has to beat their spell resistance number for the spell to even have an effect.
Okay. Dang, 8.
It's not gonna be enough. So you cast blindness, deafness, and the thing it breaks off from. It can feel the spell hit it, and you sort of cast this wave of energy at it that's focused on its eyes, and it just sort of like closes its eyes and shakes its head, and the spell just goes and dissipates when it hits the creature's skull. Which, frankly, is a bit disconcerting for you because now it's looking right at you.
All right. Well, everyone remember, I still have the Inspire Courage.
Did I miss anything?
Yes, and that's extremely helpful.
Yes, you cured Snap. You cured Llama's blindness.
Yay!
She waived her fortitude save. Thankfully. All right. So that was Phineas. Sven, you are blind. You hear somebody. Who was it that yelled out? Watch out, Sven. Was that Phineas?
It was Llama.
It was Llama. Watch out, Sven. You've got one behind you. And you're like, I can't see.
I believe I get a save against the blindness again.
Yes. Yes, you do. Will save. What's the DC of that, Leonard?
I believe it's 12, but let me go check.
Oh, it's got to be more than that.
17.
17. Okay. All right. Will save.
Sure, Dan likes the 12 better.
Yeah.
Let's try that first. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, nope. Still blind. Whenever you hear a bell, that means Leonard has blinded a party member.
So,
Just like at Christmas.
what are movement rules like when you're blinded?
Well, so, you can move, but, you really don't have a...
You just don't know what direction to go in or what's in front of you? Or
Right.
Yeah, or if there's any... ultimately, I think you would probably pick a direction and say, I'm going to move in that direction, and you continue to do so until you run into either expend your movement rate or you run into an obstacle.
Well,
There's rules. Let me look them up real quick.
Okay.
There's rules?
Well, I know the cat's there.
There's rules.
Because he hit me last time.
Did he? Yeah, he did.
Blindness test.
With a single claw, if I recall correctly.
Correct. For 9 points of damage.
Yep.
So I knew he was there before I got blinded, so I'd at least know how to move away from him.
True.
But I would most likely just plow right into Phineas, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, if you're talking about moving directly opposite from the cat, which you can do, yeah, you would move probably half an action's worth of movement rate, and then you would bonk into Phineas. I don't think I think Phineas would have the wherewithal and would see you coming where he would stop you from like knocking him over. But if Phineas was facing the other direction, it could be that you guys clonk into each other and there could be consequences to that.
Okay, you got to do a DC 10 acrobatics check to not fall prone.
Ooh, okay. That's a much
I got
uglier thing.
acrobatic plus
And,
19.
and you move at half speed.
Okay.
And in this case, if you moved away from him, you would take an attack of opportunity.
Not for the first
Unless you
square.
move straight south.
True. Not if he moves straight south.
So I have an acrobatics of 13, so the DC check is irrelevant.
Correct?
So what happens when I get to Phineas?
Well, that's up to Phineas. Phineas knows judo, so he probably would just push you over to the side.
What's your movement rate?
I got 13.
So you can only move half as blind. It looks like you could only get up to Phineas anyway.
Anyway, there we go.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you'd only get up to him. You wouldn't necessarily stop him. I think Phineas probably. Well, it's up to Andrew what Phineas does. I'm not going to speak for him.
I'll just catch him and make sure that he's stable and try to whisper in his ear to orient him.
He's going to whisper, hey, there's a big freaking cat behind you.
Yeah.
What is he
I know,
gonna
right?
whisper? It's like,
I'll
he's
yell
gonna
in his
whisper
ear
sweet
because he's
nothing.
blind, so he needs me to speak up.
You're a pretty little
Phineas,
kitty.
Phineas leans in. He's like, I've always loved you.
Yes, I've always loved you.
And Sven's like, flattering, but not really the time.
Yeah,
Remind me of camp.
no one's got time for that.
Remind me when we camp later tonight.
All right,
Okay,
that's all I can do.
that's all you can do. All right, Cat's turn. So let's do Kazir first because he's pinned, and let's just look at what that does. One more. God damn it! Enough ads. Let me just see what I want to see. A pinned character takes an additional -4 penalty to his armor class. He's limited to the actions. He can always attempt to free himself, escape artist, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so in this case, the grappler, which is the cat, since you are pinned, it gets free damage for all of its, I believe it's all of its attacks.
That's what it was last time.
Yeah, I believe it is. So let's do the 2 claws first. Which are 2d6 plus 10. Oh, and it gets the rake damage, so it's 3d6 plus 15. This is going to be quite ugly indeed.
Hope for all ones.
23 from the claws, and then as your arm sort of collapses under the pressure of the creature's neck and head muscles as it reaches down to bite you. It hits with a bite for D8 plus 5. 1d8 plus 5. Another 7 points. So 30 total points of damage. Are you conscious?
No.
Okay, so you are you completely dead?
Not entirely.
Not entirely. All right,
I'm only nearly dead.
You,
We can go through his pockets and look through his phone.
Nolan,
Fine in a moment. I'm getting better.
Nolan, you see the creature bury its thing and just savage his shoulder. At the same time, these claws are just raking him over. It's ripped open his insides, his stomach again. It's just, you've seen how cats work. They use those claws and they just rip it apart, and that's what it's doing to him. And you could see his head loll back, blood's coming out of his mouth, his eyes are rolled up in his head. Kazir's leaving us momentarily unless somebody does something important. The next thing is the other cat is going to leap off of the thing and pounce on Snapper as the closest. So he gets pounce, and which means
Do I have
full attack.
I have the healing domain?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I have rebuke death on that. Do I have to wait for my turn in order to?
Yeah, that's a spell like ability, isn't it?
the standard action, yeah.
Yeah, you got to wait till your turn. But in the meantime, you've got your hands full because the other cat Sven ran away, holding his eyes, kind of like, and the cat jumped at you. So it is going to try and bite you and claw you twice. So here comes the bite as it's flying through the air, and you're looking up at this thing, and it's just like it's a medium-sized creature, which means it's a man-sized cat that just leaped off of this wagon. It's like coming onto you. 16 with the bite. Does that hit?
Nope.
Oh, now claw. Ooh, 20. Why am I rolling T12s? That's wrong. Hold on. Do over. All right. Let's do the bite.
Cooler.
Let's do the bite again, shall we?
Well, you can keep the same roll.
No.
Yeah, really.
19 on the bite.
Nope.
22 on a first claw.
My AC is 22, so.
That's
a
hit.
hit. Second claw.
Shit.
Ooh, and a unconfirmed crit, so exploding dice. So 2 claw hits. So that's 2d6 plus 10. And well, no, first claw. Let me do this one at a time because of the exploding dice. So first claw hit, 6 points of damage, minimum damage. Second claw hit, 9 points of damage, total 15. No exploding dice on the unconfirmed crit. So total of 15. How you feeling, Snappy-O?
Well, I'm pissed, but.
Well, Llama, you were bringing your scimitar up to chop at the one that's hurting Kazir. Then you hear Snapper going, "Oh shit!" And you look around, and the cat is just like landed in front of him and is just clawing away at him. So you're surrounded by these things. In fact, Llama, if they ever decided to focus on you exclusively, they have flanking. That's not good. That's not good for anybody. And hold on, I got one other thing I gotta do.
Which of these, I'm trying to adjust my my hit points on my character. Do I adjust the red, the green, or the blue circle?
The red one.
The red.
Nolan, give me a perception check.
Who's chomping?
Hit the bit.
Gordon, he's got a terrible habit with ice.
Well,
Hey, my therapist.
It just sounded kind of like a little rabbit chewing away at something. Yeah.
16. Yeah. You're focused on Kazir, who seems very worse for wear. So there's that. All right. So those are the cats. Let's see who else I have. Llama and Leonard. You guys are the bottom of the order. You guys are up.
I haven't gone yet.
Oh.
Yeah, but you were jumping on a trampoline.
Oh, Beltran. Beltran, Llama, and Leonard. You guys are the bottom of the order. Beltran, you by rights you should be first, and then Llama and Leonard at the bottom of the order. So.
Okay.
Nice work. That's subtle, Leonard.
I begin casting a spell.
Oh, okay.
And then Glitter does some more of us.
He's gonna like, and I make you blind too.
He for one,
Come on, let's get him.
he
Hey,
for
Les.
one welcomes our new
Yep.
feline overlords.
Is this archway? You can see underneath it, right?
Yes, you can.
So if I
It's open. The arch itself is probably 8 to 10 feet high.
So if I stepped over here, then this cat is in my view.
Let me see. Let me look at the thing here. Which cat? Yeah, you can see it.
The other one's not because it's on the other side of the wall.
It's on the other side of the wall. But yeah, you can see that one. Absolutely.
Okay. Got precise shot, so I'm smacking that guy.
All right, here we go. $19 and $17. Any blesses in the?
Oh yeah,
field?
we got.
There's blesses. I think there's one
Fire
bless
courage,
out there.
so 2.
2 blesses? I don't think you can double bless.
No.
Can't stack. No.
It's like double. It's like double
Inspired
potato.
courage or whatever.
Hey, he's got the bard thing going, Inspire Courage.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so you got bless and inspire courage going. So that's a 21 and a 19. Am I reading that right? Oh no, it's a 22 and a 20. Correct.
Yes.
All right, 1 hit. Now I got to ask, obviously, Do you have any sort of ensorcelment on these arrows that would allow them to, I don't know, bypass DR?
Magic.
Ah, okay. That would bypass DR. Go ahead. One hit. 6 damage. All right. The first arrow goes awry and actually pokes into the wagon. It embeds into the wood of the wagon with a thunk. The other one,
wagon.
Huh?
That'll teach that wagon.
That'll teach
It
him.
was coming right for us.
No, the other wagon. The other one hits into the cat, and he has just come up from a thing. And he looks over at you. He's like, and his eyes. He looks right at you, Beltran, and you look into those big eyes, and his eyes are probably the size of like baseballs, like Major League Baseballs. And they're obviously cat-slitted eyes, but you look at the irises, and it looks like they're red, and they look like fire. With this sort of like bluish tinge behind them.
As soon as he looks at me, I turn around and look at Leonard.
And say, he did it. Leonard did it. All right, Llama, Leonard, what are you guys doing?
I step to where I am and begin casting.
Okay, Llama, you can see, but you are in the midst of a hellish melee. Even your barbarian senses. Who are you hitting there?
Okay. Oh, jeez. Seriously? Okay, that's me raging, and I think it's +1 on inspired courage that I'm missing, which is
+2.
So 18 and 15. Unreal.
18 and 15. Neither of those are going to hit the cat, I'm sad to say.
I'm sorry, Kazir. Damn it.
You're going to 5-foot step in behind there?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think Kazir at this point can give you flanking. I'm sorry about that.
But she did have flanking before. Llama did.
If she moved right there, I
From
think
Nolan. Well, Nolan can still, with his spear, that's still, hold on.
18, 15 plus flanking is +1.
It's still flanking.
+2.
So that'd be 2017?
2017 is still not going to be enough. I'll just let you guys know these are AC 21 creatures.
Yeah, well, if I can roll better than a 6 next time, we'll maybe do some damage.
Potentially.
Is Llama behind a wall sitting right there?
She is actually behind the wall, sitting right there.
I just want to make sure she can swing at it next time if that's what she's going for.
Yeah, you're under the arch. Oh, you're going the other way. Okay.
No, I'm looking to see.
It's really hard to see with that red.
Yeah, the red circle's a little bit glaring and difficult.
Okay, just take the red circle off. I'll keep track of when invisible, or actually, Les, you can just keep track of when invisible.
If I take it off of general viewership, can you still see it? Can you still?
I saw it before. Yeah, I still see it.
Okay. All right. Cool. But everybody else can see. Okay. Cool.
Can you guys hear me? So I was on the wall before, I guess. Then, huh?
Next to it. Yeah.
No, you're right next to it right now. The wall goes from like right there.
I see it.
Right, to right there.
I'm going to move this way, I guess.
Okay. You're gonna move up next to it for a better shot.
Yeah.
All right. Top of the order. Snapper. This thing is in your face. Nolan, you're up next.
Okay, well, I'm bursting. And I select a burst, and I'm going to avoid the cats.
Okay.
So everybody
12
gets...
points to everyone within a 30-foot radius, which I think might include everyone but Leonard. Hold on, let me double check. No, I think that. No, I don't know.
He's out.
Leonard's not hurt.
Leonard's out. Okay. Excellent. You gonna move it all, or?
Well, if I take a 5-foot step.
Wait, does bursting like that provoke an attack of opportunity?
No.
It does
not like that, no.
Okay.
I'm going to take a withdraw 5-foot step.
Okay.
And hit whoever this is, because I think he's blinded, correct?
Well, you can't. Burst is a standard action. So you won't be able to cure his blindness this turn.
Got it. Then I'm just withdrawing 5-foot step.
Okay. Nolan, you're next.
Yeah, disengage.
Is Kazir conscious again now, or is he?
That's a good point. Chuck?
No, he's not.
He's still unconscious. Okay.
but you're stabilized.
You're serious. 21 points to Kazir.
All right. Kazir wakes up. His stomach
Immediately wishes he
refits
didn't.
itself, and the cat continues to look super pissed.
Hey, Les, did you remember to deduct the fact that the cat's grappled on Jennifer's hits?
Yeah, -2 to his armor class.
Oh, shit.
I think that 20 would have probably hit.
That 20 would have been a hit then. Yep. I'm sorry. Good call. I had forgot that. It is grappled. So Lama, that one was a hit. Let's roll back there. You get a single hit. Now, do you have anything that overcomes DR?
How is it grappled?
It's
holding on to Kazir.
It's holding on to Kazir.
Ah, that's great. Okay, good thinking, Corda.
I actually thought of it. I just read the note about it.
Who sent you a note?
You did. You wrote it in your summary for what happened last week.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Because I managed to hit with my arrow because of that.
Right.
That's right.
Man, rolling rocks.
15 points. Now, do you have any damage? Any way to get around damage reduction?
She can add 2 to damage.
She's got a +1 weapon now, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I've got a +1 weapon. I do.
All right, here we go. Boom, that's a solid hit. Ow, it comes back after your weapon hits it in the spine, and it kind of like rears around to look at you and is like, and it lets out a horrifying bestial hiss as it looks at you as you've hit it. All right, Kazir, you are back alive, but still within the grab. Do you want to go ahead? It's not going to be enough, man. Sorry, another 20.
I think I would have to roll a natural 20 to break its grip.
I think you might. So I can give you the number. So it's got a CMD of 31, which means you got to hit a 36.
But does in CMD case, does a natural 20 always succeed?
No, CMDs are. It's not.
Well, if the answer is no, I can't break free.
If
the answer is yes, I'd have to roll a natural 20.
It's a combat maneuver. You can crit. We've had a canon that you can crit other combat maneuvers. Well, I don't know. Nobody's ever really critted a charge or a trip or anything like that. I don't think you can.
No.
All right, so you might be stuck until rescued.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Unless natural 20 will work, there's no way I can get out.
He's got a weapon. Can't you just attack him?
No, I'm pinned.
He's pinned.
The only thing, according to the rules that were read last time, my only options are to try to break free from the grapple.
Yeah, being pinned is it's much more limiting than just regular grapple.
If you succeed to be at
burst, right? You can still burst.
Then you become grappled, and then you actually get an action.
He could still burst or no?
Who?
You?
He's not a priest.
Oh, he's not? Oh, I thought he was.
No.
That's Lothar you're thinking of.
No, there's only 3 of us.
3 in one party. All right, so Kazir, you missed your thing. You're still pinned. Phineas and Sven.
What size are these cats?
They're medium,
Okay.
but a cat the size of a man. Actually, they're large. I apologize.
Right.
They're large.
They're large?
Yeah.
Okay.
These
are down as a
these are
cleric.
more like medium.
What's that?
So I've had you down as a cleric. I thought you were a cleric all along.
No, that's A-team. I'm a cleric.
No.
All right.
No, Doug, Gordon, and Mike are the healers in this party.
What round is this?
This is the second round tonight.
Okay. Of this combat.
I don't know. Probably like 4 or 5 is that'll.
Okay, I need to resume my Inspire Courage song.
Okay. Are you gonna move it all, or?
Probably safe where I am.
You haven't seen the sun in like...
Okay. So you're doing Inspire Courage?
Yes.
I love this Inspire Courage song. Okay. All right, cool. And you're staying where you are. All right. Sven.
First, let's try to wipe my eyes clean again.
Yep. Nope.
Worse than last time.
Man, you are rolling the crappiest saving throws. But okay. So you're still blind. So what are you going to do? Now, you do realize that you are next to Phineas. Because Phineas is, you've heard him talk to you. He's like, hold up, you're okay. Or you're not okay. I don't know what he said. I love you.
That's private. It's private.
He said, I love you.
We're all going to die.
I think I'm
love
going to
those
just
jeans.
do a 5-foot step to the side of Phineas and stand next to him.
Okay.
And then that's it.
All right. Cat attack. First, let's do Kazir. 23 and max damage 13. That's 36. Kazir goes back unconscious as this thing just continues to tear him to pieces. Gobbets of are you done?
I beg to differ. He is not unconscious. He has slipped loose the mortal coil.
No! Kazir is gone. You see the creature, Nolan, you probably see this close more than anyone. You see the creature dip his head down. He rips again at his midsection, and he dips his face down into his guts, and you see him rip out a heart or a lung or some sort of gobbet of flesh and begin choking it down. And you see just Kazir's eyes are wide open, mouth, blood coming down his neck. He looks gone.
I say, right, I'll do you for that.
The thing looks like it's exultant. It's just like ha 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 ha, as it horks down a big hunk of Kazir's entrails into its smoky guts.
When the big guys eat us, the bad guys, does that mean we can't restore, or restoration literally rebuilds hearts and lungs and whatnot?
I don't know. He looks pretty dead.
Yeah, we're low enough level. Unless Doug said he had some kind of resurrect thing, so maybe he can get him back.
5-foot step into Snapper.
The lowest level resurrect thing I know of is raise dead, and that's you gotta be 9th level to do that.
Yeah, I don't have resurrection or anything else like that. I mean, I rebuke death, but I got to look at the.
Okay, 18 to hit as a bite attack on you, Snap.
No.
First claw, 21.
Yeah, it's a miss.
Second claw, 25.
Yeah, that hits.
8 points of claw damage. As the thing is just it keeps lunging forward and it's snapping. Its teeth are snapping at you, and it's just swiping those razor sharp claws at you. And one of them finally gets your forearm and raises 3 big welts of and blood just comes welling up to the surface and starts covering your arm and your hand. And you're like, these cats suck.
Yes, they do.
Doesn't anyone have a laser pointer?
Fresh out.
Make them run off into the field somewhere.
Well,
or a squirt bottle or something.
They can do backflips back and forth, and yeah.
That's better. A squirt bottle. No, bad kitty.
Leonard Beltran, give me a perception check. Leonard, you are focused on something else, but Beltran, you look off to your right, and you see another cat come into your invisibility purge. It just sort of slips as comes through, and its head's down as it sort of just is padding quietly towards you. And then it looks around and can see that it's visible, and it looks right at you, Beltran, and just bares its those gums come back, showing those big saber-toothed ass fangs. And I'm
going to yell to anyone who listens to me, another cat, and begin flipping around to face it.
Okay. All right. That's them. It's your turn. And then Lama and Leonard.
Okay. Dang it.
You look around. Leonard doesn't know that cat's there. He's focused on something else.
I just
Well,
yelled.
he just yelled.
Oh, you just
I
yelled
just
more
yelled
cat.
another one, and I'm turning around to face it.
Goes whipping around and like, oh shit.
Taking a 5-foot step back to here, and I'm shooting the
That's
cat.
my second perception.
Okay. Which one are you shooting?
Can't take a 5-foot step. Dang it.
Why can't you take a 5-foot step?
I can a little bit. I'm shooting 2 arrows at this guy, and then I'm going to take a 5-foot step back.
Hold on just a second. Hey, what's up?
Where I could find like
Snapper, are these things undead or are they alive?
Oh, they're alive.
enough to support my body weight.
Yeah.
I don't know that we have
Absolutely.
any smoke, but if we did, it would be in the garage.
I want to put it over the beam and then use it for inclines.
Don't injure yourself.
I'm not. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm putting.
Don't do anything stupid. Okay. Sorry.
Famous last words.
What did you got? Did that come through? Sorry. All right. So you're shooting 2 and then moving back.
Yeah. So.
All right. Go for it, dude. Okay. So what's on top of those? Anything?
Not enough.
Okay. So
There's
both
3 on
miss.
top of each one of those, but that's not going to make
That's got to be not an AC-21 cat.
And you know what? It's at the edge, so I'm not going to move. But I've yelled, and if anyone looks at me to see what I'm talking about.
Well, it's sort of like padding forward. It looked like it was sneaking up on you guys from the behind.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it was definitely coming around to think. And then it hit that invisibility purge, and it was just like, oh, like sneaks over. And it was just like hissing at you. But yeah, it was coming up behind. It was going to try and pounce on somebody.
Like I said, everyone's heard me yell, and I shot 2 arrows in that general direction. So.
Okay. Lama. You just saw what it did to Kazir, your friend Kazir, your old friend, your comrade.
You're muted, Jennifer, if you're there.
Yeah, I was already raging. I can double rage. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Hello? Okay.
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yep, I hear you. So if I could double rage, I would, but I can't. Okay, so +2 on the Inspire is what I'm missing, right?
And bless. You got a bless going too.
I got bless.
Yeah, +3 to attack and +2 to damage.
Let's see if there's a flank. I don't know. What do you think? Rules lawyers?
It's not this time.
There's not a flank right now.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So +2 for the Inspire, more, and no flanking. So there's 1.
Ooh, that's a hit.
And 2.
2 hits. This might be the end of one of these.
Nice. Remember, add the +2 damage too.
Okay. 1, 2.
That's 40 points of damage plus 4 extra. So 44.
No, that's in there. It's in there. No, it's in there. I added the extra.
All right,
2.
so 40 points of damage. It had 22 left. So
yeah, that was it.
The scimitar comes down on its back, and you can hear the bones crack underneath the pressure of the thing. This tightly stretched skin splits open, and actual fire and smoke comes out of the wound, and it collapses next to the body of Kazir. All right, Snap. It's not your turn, but okay.
No, I know. I'm just creating another whatever it's called.
Oh, a macro? You're doing a macro? Yeah. Okay. All right, Leonard. How many and what hit points?
What makes you think he's summoning something?
He told me.
Because I told him.
How many hit points on it?
2 of them.
2 of them. And how many hit points did they get?
17 hit points.
17 hit points. Okay. And controlled by Leonard. Let's Make a copy. Then we make a paste. Bring them down. This is the funnest part. All right, I'm just going to bring them down to you, and then
Put them up here by the cat, by
you,
Snapper.
you can move them.
Okay.
How you get it exact? Okay.
Their first act, they're going to do flyby attacks.
Okay. On Snapper?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
Perfect.
Well, yeah.
On this guy here.
Funny you should ask.
This one comes through and goes that way. This one comes through and heads here.
All right. And those are bashes, right? What do they call them? Smacks?
Slams. Slams is what they call them, but they're also in whirlwind form, so they're going to try to grapple as they go by.
Okay.
First I have to slam them, though, first I have to slam them.
Okay. Now, is a successful slam attack a prerequisite to a potential grapple?
Yes.
Okay, so you have to hit before you can grapple. All right, AC 21. Oh, there's one.
So let's do him first.
All right. Grapple attack. CMD, as I mentioned before, is 31.
Well, actually, in whirlwind form, you roll.
What?
It's a reflex save to not be captured by it. Well, no. No, it's a CMD. It is. Okay.
Okay. 31.
What is it?
31. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, no. Okay. No. So he actually does 1, 2, 4 plus 3.
Good Christmas chimes went off.
So he did 5 points damage as he went by.
Okay.
The next one.
Oops.
25 to hit.
That will hit as well.
We'll go ahead and try to grapple.
All right.
What is it? 31?
Come on, that's what you want.
Yeah, he can't do it anyway.
You needed 21. 20-sided dice. All
so
right.
6 points damage.
6 points. Got it. Okay. Boom, boom.
Meanwhile, Leonard turns and sees this guy.
Uh-huh.
Because Beltran shouted at him.
Right.
I am going to cast. Here we use here. I'm going to cast Fireball here.
What?
I'm casting Fireball here.
All right.
In case there's any others behind him that are still invisible.
Gotcha. Okay. Fireball is a 30-foot radius, right?
20 foot.
20-foot radius. All right. And you're going to put it. I'm assuming that you want to do it so you're just barely getting that guy, right?
Right.
Okay. So you throw it behind him. Kaboom. All right. So reflex save, yes?
For half, yep.
Let me see if he has evasion. He does not. Reflex save for half. Okay, let me go ahead and roll it. What do you get? 26.
That's a DC of 27 minus 10.
Minus 10. Okay.
Minus 10.
All right. So half damage. 28, 14.
14. You want to roll saves for any others?
I will do that separately. Out of sight from all of you. Okay, so you see the fireball. So Leonard, you see the fireball sort of materialize. Hold on, I got to send it you see the fireball just sort of materialize, and the cat's sort of pouncing forward and kind of looks back as the blast, the fireball wave just sort of engulfs it. And you can see it kind of thrash around for a bit. And then as the fireball itself dies away, you see the creature there. And there's smoke coming off of it. And parts of him are a little bit on fire. You can see him kind of like swatted away, and the fire goes off. You can see he's scorched a little bit. But again, this is a creature that's got bones that seem to be made of fire. So you're not entirely sure you've done a ton of damage to him.
Well, it was a panic thing. So
And I totally understand. That happens to me too when I like on a subway and stuff like that.
Maybe we need to douse him with water.
Or cold, maybe. I don't know. All right, so that is the end of that round. Top of the order, Snapper and Nolan.
Snap is going to take a 5-foot step down.
Okay.
And cure Sven of blindness.
I can
All right, Sven,
see.
you get a fortitude save. Shoot.
Yeah, no, thank you.
You get a wave? Okay, wave's the save. All right.
Oh,
So finally, you're like, again, this, you see these. Phineas, probably you get in Beltran, you get the best idea. You see Sven sort of like, he gets, Snapper comes up behind him and grabs onto him and says, "Blindness be gone!" And you see the gold particles sort of fly out of his eyeballs, and you can see Sven his eyes kind of open up, and he blinks a couple of times. He's like, and pulls back up his his bow and begins reaching for his quiver. You can tell that he can see. Awesome. All right, Nolan. Standing over the body, you see Lama with her scimitar in her hand, and you see Kazir's just completely shredded body below you, along with the broken body of the cat creature. The other cat creature is looking at Lama pretty hungrily, I guess is probably the best way to describe that.
I mean, you don't like cleric?
Yeah, he's had a couple of bites of you, but now he's got somebody hit his friend.
Cats have no friends.
If I move around to there, can I attack that cat in front of me?
Absolutely. Mess with the crabbo, you get the stabbo. Oh, is that what I think it is? 23 was your confirm, so no fumble, but that is a solid miss.
All right, that's all I got.
All right. Phineas and Sven.
I will try to hypnotize that kitty.
Okay. Hold on a second. Shit. Okay, here we go. So the one that Nolan just tried to stab, or the one that's coming up behind Beltran and Leonard?
And you.
I should probably do the one.
And you, Beltran, just a quick reminder that this one's coming up behind you as well.
Yeah, I'll go for this kitty.
FYI.
Try and hypnotize him. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Hypnotize. Okay. Now this is hypnotism, correct?
Right.
Gestures and droning incantations fascinate nearby creatures. Several living creatures, no two of which will be. All right, so we'll save negates, but roll 2d4. Let's to see how many hit dice of creatures that you can affect.
Okay.
And let me check to see what hit dice this creature is. Good. What the hell's that?
I don't know. 2d4.
That's
And you got a
impressive.
5 and a 6?
I want his die roller.
Yeah, really.
What the hell is that?
I don't know. Let me do that again.
2d4. Okay, 5. 5 hit dice. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and roll this is a will save. What's the DC, do you know?
Oh, 15.
15. All right, so let's take a look at their will saves. Is that? Okay. 7. All right, so you're like doing some sort of incantation, and Sven and Beltran are like, what is he doing? It's this droning sort of music and noise that he seems to be playing. The cat stops and is looking at Phineas. And you see him sort of like cock his eyes. He does that thing where cats sort of look at you funny. And then he lowers his head again and begins moving forward again towards you, Phineas. You're not sure that it worked. You suspect that maybe it is a higher hit dice creature than you can offend, that you can work this magic on.
I suspect this might be a more sophisticated, intelligent creature than we think.
You gonna move it all, or just that thing? You gonna stay close to Beltran and Sven? Hopefully, they can protect you.
Maybe I'll. Yeah, I better stay where I am to keep the inspired courage surrounding everyone.
Sven Jolly, what about you?
All right. 2 shots, point blank, right at him.
Bless you.
Bless you. I assume those are hits. Well, yeah, they are.
One moment. I was typing messages to all my friends. 23 and 27, those are both hits. Shunk, shunk. And I'm assuming you're shooting at this one.
No, this one.
Oh, really? You're shooting past Snapper.
I got point blank. I'm not worried.
Okay, so 2 hits. Now, do you have anything that allows you to get past DR?
Yeah, they're magical shots.
They're magical shots. And what is it, a magical bow?
No, I have arcane strikes.
Ah, okay, fantastic, beautiful. Go ahead and roll damage. Ooh, 11 and 13, 24 points of damage. 2 strikes, which hit it amidships. As it looked like it was going after Lama, and then so it sort of turned its body and gave you a perfect target. You just plant 2 of them right in its rib cage, and it lets out this horrific yowl that just echoes in your ears, and are just like, I can't stand it. This crazy noise that it hits. But it hit hard, but now it's kind of like turning its face back towards you and Snapper. It might think that Snapper did it.
Yeah, I yell out, "That's what you get," and then I duck behind Snapper.
Duck behind Snapper. Perfect. Okay. All right. It's their turn. All right. Let's see. Well, I think he's going to come at Snapper. Do that 5-foot step and try to attack because he thinks that's where it came from. So bite attack, 25.
That hits.
Claw attack, 21.
That misses.
Other claw, 25.
Oh yeah, that
so
hits.
Bite, 2 claws. And frankly, Snap, you blame Sven for this.
I do.
This is definitely Sven's fault. Here's the claw. Ooh, max damage, 11 points. And bite, another 9, 20 points of damage.
Russ, you're killing us with these rolls.
Thanks, Sven. Appreciate that.
Are you down? Do you still have
no. But still.
Okay.
20 points
Just
of
trying to
damage.
kill the cat.
He's still going to remember that.
Okay. And
Yeah, I'll do you for that.
Well, he's interested in Phineas, but he knows that he can't get to him. So he is going to charge and pounce Beltran. Boom. Right here. Attack. And because of pounce, he gets his full attacks. Bite. 15. Claw. 19. That hit you?
Nope.
Other claw. Oh, no. Roll to.
Come on, fumble.
Unconfirmed fumble. Just a miss. So.
So you assume the 29 hits me?
That's you know what? You're right.
Yeah, yes, it does hit me.
I know how you play, so I was wrong to assume that.
That does hit me.
It does. Okay, so it is an unconfirmed fumble. So his thing just ends, but a disappointing attack round for the cat that charged Beltran. That's sad. Subsequently, it's Beltran's turn, and
apparently I found my laser pointer.
Yeah, you found it. Yeah, the squirt bottle. It's your turn, and then Lama and Leonard.
Okay, I'm taking a 5-foot step back.
Okay.
And putting a spiritual weapon right there.
Ooh, and your spiritual weapon is?
A bow.
A bow. All right. This is the worst drawing I've ever done. There we go.
Doing an attack.
I don't know what that.
You don't have clip art for that stuff.
I should. I should.
We'll send you one.
I'm sure. Hold on. Let me check my Ziggy archives. Hold on.
They had all kinds of free stuff on Roll20 too, Les.
Yeah, I know. I'm just too lazy to go look at it. I want one with an arrow knocked, and I don't. So I'm looking through this, and there's not. I could probably find it. It's
okay.
You guys know what it is. I've been hand drawing these spiritual weapons for a long time, and will continue to do so.
It shoots and misses.
It shoots and misses. The spiritual weapon shoots and misses, you mean?
Correct.
Okay. Lama. You're standing over the bodies of your friend and the cat. The other cat just attacked Snapper and put a hurt on him. Nolan's trying to spear him. Sven's shooting arrows at him. Snapper's just, making sort of like these wheezy noises.
Lama's gonna move up, but do I hear this thing behind me? I'm assuming I can't really miss something.
The air elemental, yeah, it kind of whooshed behind you, clocked that thing. But you've seen these air elementals before. You know this is Leonard's stock and trade. So frankly, after the whole glitter dust thing, you're worried that those elementals are coming for you next.
Okay, so I'm gonna step here.
Okay.
Hit this kitty.
All right. Go for it. 26 is a hit.
Couldn't you have done a 5-foot step and got 2 attacks, Jen? Or did you get 2 attacks?
I did do 2 attacks. There was my second one.
26 is also, again, a hit.
And she's raging, so this one's dead too.
You might be.
Yeah, that one's gone, I think.
39 points. Let me check the scores. Hold on. 39 points. Yeah, that's going to be enough. This one also drops as Lama just brings its her scimitar down on it. And this time, instead of in the sort of amid its back, she manages to get it right behind the sort of the base of the head and lays that thing open. Then comes back down on top of the head, and it drops in front of Snapper. And Snapper's wheezing stops as it falls to the ground. But there's one left, and he looks like he's trying to get at Phineas. Leonard, you're up, buddy. So what are your elementals going to do first? Are they going to attack Lama?
No, they fly very fast. They're going to swoop up, come over and attack this guy here.
So sort of a couple of like, Immelman kind of things.
Yeah, they have 100 movement speed.
Okay. So yeah, they would have no problem flipping up, backwards, and over to the thing.
I'll be up. Yeah, be there in a second.
This guy's going to hit him and end up over here.
Okay.
This guy swings by and ends up over here.
All right, go ahead and roll it, my man. $23 is a hit.
Six points damage.
6 points. All right.
And a miss.
Is a miss. So 6 points of damage. The cat kind of like, snaps at one as it goes by, but to no avail. All right. Top of the order. Snap and Nolan. Lama, you guys see, what you guys have been seeing is Lama just on a rampage. She's been just wading in by these things and just snapping, clocking them in the head, snapping their backs. She's the only one that's been able to bring any kind of heat to bear. Now, some of them have arrows in them and stuff like that, but as far as you can tell, there's only one left. The one that's facing off down in the southern area and just got clocked by a couple of air elementals. What do you do?
Well, Snapper is going to move through this and get off of me, dog. Just to check out Kazir.
Okay.
And I mean, I based on the conversation, he's He's absolutely dead. I can't hit him with a quick cure light or anything to bring him back. Or
Give me a heal check.
let me see. It's 20 plus 12. 18.
Hold on a second. So 18, yeah. He, you reached out, and it does honestly, it doesn't take much of a DC to take a look. You're looking at a person who's been essentially disemboweled and eviscerated, and not only that, but a pretty significant portion of his the entrails from his upper chest cavity are now missing. He's quite dead.
7.
Okay.
He's well beyond the limited prospects of a cure light wound.
Okay. Do I have enough time then to hit myself with using the wand of cure lights to hit myself with a cure light?
Sure.
All right, 10 back.
Okay. Nolan, what about you? You see Snapper run over to Kazir to try and help him. You see him sort of like looking around, trying to help him out.
The wind elemental is in the air, right?
Correct.
So I'm going to go basically underneath of it.
I got to move away for a bit. I'll be back.
Okay.
So flanking position, and I'm going to move back again.
Oh, yeah, okay. Flanking with the spiritual weapon.
Yep.
23 will hit.
Yeah, I do not have anything magical.
Okay.
So take that into a factor, but the 8 plus 11. 13 damage.
13 points of damage. So you do get the impression that these weapons do not seem to be doing as much damage as you hoped, but it did do some. You see this sort of like this smoky kind of ichor come out of the wound that you make in this stretched taut skin. And it does, you hear it kind of like, do a sort of a hiss at you and then refocus back on the guys to the northwest.
I got a question, Les.
Mm-hmm.
With a spear, you can set them to do double damage on an attack?
Yeah, on a charge attack, yeah.
Can you do that after you've attacked? Can you just basically drop the spear to the ground? Has anybody ever done that? Or
yeah, I think you can. I can't imagine that that's much more than a swift action.
Okay, so I'm going to set that spear against the cat in case it does try to attack me.
All right, you sort of like bracing the butt of the spear in the ground and keeping the point at him so that if he comes in towards you, he's going to impale himself on it kind of thing?
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool. Phineas and Sven. That creature seems to be homing in on you, Sven.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Phineas. And but that spiritual weapon is kind of holding it at bay a little bit. It's not going to be easy for it to get around. Although if it moves that 5-foot step up next to Sven, it will be able to attack.
Say that again, please.
So if it moves 1 square to the north, it will be able to attack you.
Well, isn't someone standing there?
No, not in this square here.
Got it. Okay.
Unless Sven takes the opportunity when he logs back in to move into that square. That would in itself probably block it from getting at you.
Okay.
But that's up to Sven.
And with him being an archer, I'm sure that's what he's going to do.
Is move forward.
Right.
Move up right next to the guy, yeah.
So is that spell dissipated that removes invisibility?
No, it's still going.
Okay.
As long as you see cats, it's still going.
Yeah, that's why.
That's
why you can see this cat. Frankly.
Got it. Okay. I will then probably move north. 5 feet, and I'm going to use prestidigitation to take this rope and
okay,
and try to lure the kitty with a moving snake.
You're gonna shake a string at it?
Yes.
Okay. I love it. Hold on a second. Prestidigitation. Okay. What it is? Okay. So yeah. All right. So where's the rope?
I'm carrying rope.
All right. So you basically throw rope on the ground in front of it.
Well, I give the appearance of the rope wiggling around in front of it.
Okay. So you got the rope out. You throw it down sort of in this square right here, I'm assuming. Or in the square you were in?
No.
This one.
In front of it. Yeah.
In front of it. All right. So you chuck the rope over there and do prestidigitation, and the rope begins to move on its own and sort of wiggle about.
Right.
Okay. What would be the will save on that?
I don't know.
It's a 0 level spell, but I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it has. It's
like throwing a
10,
stick for a dog.
It's 10 plus 0 plus your primary ability modifier, which is 4.
Yes.
Plus 4, so it's a DC 14. I'm going to roll a will save to see if this creature is distracted by this. No, it's not. It was a great idea, but it does see through it. It sees what you're trying to do.
But it's a kitty.
I know. Frankly, you do see its sort of eyes kind of like light up a little bit when you see this. Then it sort of like shrugs it off and gets back to the fight. It wants to do that. And frankly, if the rope is still there after it's killed and eaten all of you guys, it's definitely coming back. But in this case, it's not going to slow it down, sadly.
Okay.
That was a great idea, though. Sven.
All right.
Giving you bonus XP for that idea. That's awesome.
I'm going to take a 5-foot step back.
Okay. Everybody's backing away.
And 2 shots right at him.
All right. Go for it.
I don't know if you noticed. I completely crashed. I just logged back on.
We saw the message.
Back.
I got to reset all my pluses. All right. Shot 1.
Ooh. You crit on a 19?
No.
Okay. Shot 1. That's definitely a hit. And 20 is a miss, sadly. So 1 hit. Ooh, 8 points. Still something. You guys are whittling this guy down. All right, it's his turn. This is a curious thing. So that spiritual weapon missed him last time, but Beltran has hit him a couple of times. So he knows that Beltran is dangerous. He knows that Sven, who just hit him now, is also dangerous. Phineas tried to hypnotize him and threw a rope in front of him, which is amusing, but I don't know that he would consider Phineas to be super dangerous. So he is going to pounce on Sven, the closest, most easily attackable dude. And he's going to try and first bite him. Ooh, with a 20. Does that bite?
Un momento.
Would the spiritual weapon get an attack of opportunity? Pass through a threatened square to get to Sven.
How did we do the rules on that? I have to check the website now.
You've got the rules botched up on this one, so I'm going to let you answer this.
Yeah, I think we were doing it different than what the rules actually say, so you have to check.
Yeah, we are. It's on the website under its canon now. Hold on a second. Let me check.
If you go just by the rules, it does get an attack of opportunity.
So our rule is spiritual weapons can make attacks of opportunity if conditions warrant. At their normal attack bonus, a spiritual weapon also takes up space and therefore can block enemies from passing through the square. So that would be a legitimate attack of opportunity. So take it. Sven, does the 20 bite hit you?
Yeah, 20 hits for sure.
That's a hit. Claw, 30.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Second claw, 22.
Yeah.
So full, and it gets rake damage also. So basically, It's a max attack here. So
I'm coming to join you, Kazir.
you might be. This is getting tense, man.
Yeah, check out Kazir's name on Roll20. You can come join me, dude.
All right, there is the claw.
Hanging with its 72 virgins.
And another 11 for the bite. 36 points of damage to Sven. Sven, are you up?
I'm up. Ain't feeling good.
Oh, man, you see this thing. Phineas, you get the bird's eye view here. This thing just lays into Sven. The claws are raking at his abdomen and have ripped open his armor, and you can see that, his blood's pouring out. He went for his throat, and Sven just got his arm up just in time, and the teeth grabbed onto his arm and raked off, and you could practically see bone. And it's just blood all over the place.
Ew.
Beltran, Lama, and Leonard.
Okay.
Cat.
Bo's going to try and shoot again.
Nope.
That bow has been sucked.
Those 3 out of these 0 for 3 on the.
Yeah, no. I'm going to go around this way and
Okay.
come back behind here and then hit.
You have an opportunity to finish Sven off.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm not trying to put ideas in your head, but if you want to take that opportunity, it's
And
Well,
that
this is
would-
a true verm, though, because
That would count as a verm, yes.
that would count as a verb. Yeah, if you want to get on the big
Yes,
board.
the only one that's attacked him. So if I finish him off, this is mine.
That's true. It would be a legitimate
EPs.
verb.
EPs.
Pure light on who?
That's actually cure moderate on Sven.
Oh, Sven, bringing you back.
I'm feeling better.
I'm not dead yet. All right, excellent. Lama, and then Leonard.
Cat meat llama.
Yeah.
Couple of other flybys done.
Yep.
Okay.
Whoops. Ignore that.
Okay. Ignored.
Thank you. Let's do this one. This one.
All right. So, Lama, what are you doing? You're attacking. Okay. So 24 will hit, 13 will miss. For
Right at Sven.
all right. So what's that second 20 doing?
That's just the
Oh, that's the damage. Okay.
damage. Yeah.
All right. A solid hit, but not enough to put it down. Still up, although you have its full attention now.
Pretty.
Leonard, did you roll yours yet?
I have not. I got 3 attacks, 2 flybys coming.
Okay. Oh, roll to confirm. Unconfirmed miss, so 1 misses completely.
Hey, Don, you're giving those air elementals a bless, aren't you?
Another miss.
Yes.
But then
No,
rolling a 1 and a
they
2.
arrived after the bless was cast.
Okay, then no.
That's 2 misses. What was the third attack?
Nice recovery.
Acid splash by me.
Okay, that's against that's a touch attack, range touch.
Range touch.
So that's a much different AC. Go ahead and roll that bad boy. You all right there, Dougie?
Yes.
21 is a hit. Acid gets on him.
And I got to see what, I think it's 1d4. Hold on. Or,
Sadly, he is not immune to acid as I'd hoped.
3.
We're happy.
So a big blob of greenish acid flies out of the palm of Leonard's hand and just lands
1
on
point.
the back on this 1 point, did you say?
1 point. It's 1d3.
Okay. Lands on the back of this creature and spreads out, and you see this whitish smoke coming off, and it blends with the black smoke that's coming off him. He lets out a little yip, but is still up and around. At which point we reach the top of the order again. That was the end of the, I believe, 4th round today, and Snapper and Nolan are back up. So you had your spear set. It went in the other direction. You're going to pick it up and move over there and stab him? You will get flanking.
Snapper's going to take a perception check.
That's a hit.
30.
Okay.
And do I see any more of these creatures or anything else going on?
With a 30, you do not see any more of these creatures. At least you don't see any of them inside the invisibility purge.
All right, then I'm coming up here and I'm checking out the wagon.
All right, so you're running over by the wagon. Okay.
Flanking,
Nolan, that's a hit with the spear.
flanking doesn't do damage, just a hit. Is that right?
Just a hit, yeah. 16 points. You managed to get a very lucky hit, and you jam this thing right into the flank and manage to miss the bone, and you feel the spear just sliding forward deep into the creature's body. It writhes around. You sort of almost shish kebabbed him a little bit, and he's stuck on that spear, and you can feel the spear just jumping around out of your hand. But finally, it kind of like slows a little bit and begins to fall down at Sven's feet as you slowly move the spear back and pin it to the ground, and it stops moving after a couple of seconds. It's flaming, smoky blood kind of pouring out of it.
Great. Yay.
Well done, gentlemen. And at that
Now,
point,
what do we do about Kazir?
we drop out of initiative. Well, you guys go over to take a look at Kazir. Kazir, as Snapper was able to determine, is just completely eviscerated. He's been slashed and ripped open essentially, and there's a pretty substantive part about the size of about half to 3/4 of a bowling ball's worth of his entrails from his chest cavity, which are now missing and gone. So there's like a big gap where his like a big chunk of his lung and heart and part of his like stomach and esophagus are all like ripped out. It's basically a big pool of blood now. There's blood everywhere. You're looking down at him and you've killed a lot of creatures, but just like, man, I didn't realize that people had this much blood in them because it's everywhere. And his eyes are still sort of open and looking up at the sky underneath his scimitar, which is pinned underneath his body.
Do you like to do on TV and just put my hand over his eyes and close them and they stay closed?
Close them, they stay closed, as opposed to snapping back open and disgusting everybody.
Yeah.
So you guys sort of look around. So here's the interesting thing: these creatures, whatever they are, were apparently not summoned, because they are not evaporating back to whatever plane they came from. Their bodies are still there. And frankly, you reach down and someone reaches down at one point and touches one of them, and you draw back your hand, and you're just like, man, it's hot. And you realize that these creatures themselves are quite hot to the touch, despite them being dead.
I'm going to take a knowledge religion check.
Okay.
To see if they're like from some level of hell or something like that.
All right.
I just got to know what plus 13.
Does anybody remember
laughter?
What religion?
20.
20. So you would recall some during your studies of the infernal planes. Back when you were in the thing, that some devils will have cats that were described as being made of smoke and fire they would use as hunters and sort of companions. They had no other name other than hellcats or devil cats, but it echoes what Phineas knows. You think that these may have been these creatures are native to the hells. What they're doing here in the Mana Wastes is a much more curious question. Now, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. What were you saying, Mike?
Beltran would ask out, does anyone remember what religion Kazir was? Was it any of the ones that the three clerics we have here are?
Radical terrorist.
Oh, that's PC.
Boom. Silence, I kill you.
Come on. Let me look here.
I don't believe that his.
Does he have any holy symbol?
Yeah, I don't know that he ever declared a religion.
Okay.
Yeah,
He doesn't
his-
have because Chuck, does Kazir have a holy symbol or anything like that?
No, but he wasn't all that religious. But if he were to say a prayer to someone, it would have been Abadar. It's the god of mercantilism or trade or whatever from Kelishite. So no, not terribly religious.
Okay.
And I'm scrolling now. I'm pretty sure he didn't have any sort of holy symbol at all.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
No.
So if we all talk and no one knows, then I'll try to suggest we give him a proper service. Any of the three of us can do it, and then we bury his body.
You gonna bury him here, or you gonna try and take him back? You gonna put him in a bag of holding with the 17 suits of stolen armor, and
Then we'll have to rename it from our head bag to the Kazir bag.
the Kazir bag. Yeah, well, these things evolve.
Most of him is absorbed into the desert sand at this point.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of him is going to stay regardless of what you guys decide to do.
And it's unfortunate that Matt's not here, or he would have been the first to say loot the body.
Well, Matt, Matt being Matt, realistically, there is that opportunity. So, I mean, you do guys.
Beltran's pretty practical.
Okay, so
he's already looted the body, is what you're saying.
Here's the list.
And kept everything.
There's a +1 scimitar, a masterwork silver dagger, a composite short bow of strength +2.
Who's the party treasury person?
I thought that was always you.
I definitely do it in the other thing.
Yeah, wasn't it you?
By default. Not that you volunteered.
Oh yeah, I do actually have a few things in this. Although I don't have a full list. Unless we just sold everything, I don't have much on here.
I think that we've been.
We don't have much.
We've been selling for every adventure, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I've got lists from some stuff, but I don't want to be the secretary.
Okay, so +1 scimitar.
Yeah.
Dungeon rich and in town poor.
Right.
Masterwork silver dagger. Composite short bow strength +2.
Ooh.
Potion of cure light wounds.
Helpful.
Not when you're pinned by a 600-pound
Yeah.
cat.
No, not when you're pinned by a giant hellcat.
A potion of bull strength, also not helpful when pinned by a 600-pound cat.
You need, really, somebody ought to come up with some sort of IV solution for that you can use while grappled. You just squeeze the bag and it just
helmets with the straws that come off.
It's like a Capri Sun. It's a Capri Sun full strength.
500 gold pieces. And a mark for tunnel home for 1,100.
Ooh,
now that's something.
Please pay to the bearer 1,100 gold pieces at tunnel homes.
And the 500 gold pieces is assorted gems, whatever party treasure that he got a portion of. I just converted it to gold piece because I wasn't going to write all that crap down.
Right.
Yeah, if you're lugging it around, you're not lugging around a bag with 500 coins in it. Right. It's probably gems and some coins, various denominations.
And then there's some basic mundane stuff. He has an ever-burning torch that might prove helpful. And masterwork courier's outfit that gives you +1 in diplomacy. And then the rest is the same stuff that probably everybody has.
Okay. I got it all.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
So while you guys are sort of handing this stuff out and Snapper's checking over the wagon, which is completely empty, by the way, Snap. Phineas and Lama, give me a perception check.
Okay.
Oh.
$18.
Okay, so Lama, you're watching in the other direction, kind of like doing stuff. But Phineas, You're sort of, as they're going through this and trying to figure out whether or not they're going to give him they're going to give, because you're a burial here, or thinking about taking him back to Master Bashir and back to Kellish, Kellish and that kind of stuff. And you're looking down the road south towards Geb's Rest. And at first you thought you heard something, and it sounded like maybe the sound of, I don't know, sort of a clicking noise or a clopping noise. But as you look down to the south, you can see off in the distance, about a quarter of a mile down the road, you can see what looks to be at least a pair of figures on horseback coming your way.
Fireball.
Isn't that Leonard's job to snap fireball at creatures that are resistant to fire?
Oh, yeah, I can't do it. I'm telling Leonard.
Okay. Coming up. They don't seem to be hurrying so much. I mean, they're not like, I guess probably the best word would be cantering. They're not like galloping towards you guys on some sort of attack mode. But they're also not.
They've been calling the cats for a while. They're just waiting for them to finish whatever they're doing, and then.
Well, they're coming from the direction of Geb's Rest. Now, Geb's Rest is only about what would we say, about 3/4 of a mile to a mile down the road to the south. They're coming up that same direction essentially that you guys came.
Oh.
Llama's gonna hide. Just save herself for a special treat if needed.
Okay, like what, behind one of the pillars, or
one of the columns, the arch columns?
Okay.
I'll stand up. She can hide behind me.
Okay, go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and move the. What am I doing here? What the hell am I doing here?
Do you want me to move myself?
I'm going to move the cats out of the way. See,
Phineas, you should go ahead and go talk to him.
Okay.
I'll go with him.
I'm also going up by the pillar and mentioning that I'm still a bit wounded next time we do.
Okay. Not dead yet, but still a bit sniffly.
I think this is still bleeding.
All right, Lama, so you are obscuring yourself behind the edge of that thing?
Or is there enough cover like behind any of this in here?
Well, I mean, there's a big wagon there, so that would provide a fair amount of cover. I mean, you could sort of duck behind these right here are
Sven, you get 18 back.
Upright pillars. You can get behind one of those. There's some cover and from the arches, but you have to be sort of in the right position. If you were wanting to stay really secret, first thing you'd think of would be behind that wagon.
Why can't I see the wagon?
It's to the north.
That north.
Oh, I don't want to be that far.
If you're going to do that, then we need to back up and.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys are too forward. I was just trying to save a little treat, so if they get all confident and cocky and position themselves, that they can.
Okay, let's all back up towards the wagon, and that way Llama can hide behind the wagon.
Okay.
Right here. And I'm feeling much better.
Hey, Phineas, what's your diplomacy?
Diplomacy is +14.
Okay, same as mine. I'm going to aid him, so I'm going to be like, yeah, what he said.
Yeah. Or I can do the.
Les, I was waiting for a reaction. I didn't get one.
From? I didn't see what you did.
Send you a message.
Oh, I didn't see the message either.
I saw it and I disapprove.
Okay. All right. Cool. You want to wait till you want to?
I don't really do that.
Oh. Okay. All right. Hold on. I got to put this here. All right. That's
Tombstone.
That's Tombstone. All right. So you got this. These are the positions you guys want to be in.
Snapper, you staying way out front?
When you say it that way.
I don't think he realized we all moved.
Doug, this is the front line person right here.
Is he still sitting there? He said he had to go away for a second.
There he goes.
Okay, perfect. All right, you see, as they approach, they're about 200 yards or so away. You see them kind of pull off to the side, the left side of the road. The road has got just so much garbage in it, fallen pillars and stuff, that to be on horseback is kind of like things. So they pull off over to the side into the grassy area.
Probably don't want to get blood on their horses' feet. So
They don't want to ruin that. But pretty soon they get within, then it's 100 yards away, 50 yards away. Those of you in front, and I want to say Beltran, Phineas, Leonard, and Nolan, give me a perception check. Well, that's pretty good. Okay.
Mike notices one of them has a very identifiable tattoo behind his right ear.
All right, so Leonard, it's difficult for you to see, but Phineas and Beltran, you both get a better look at these guys once they get past the 100-yard mark. And on one hand, you see, and Lama, you see this as well, or Nolan, I'm sorry, you see this as well. On one of the guys is a very large person, clad in plate mail and on a large destrier-like steed. You're not sure if it's a war horse, but it is, it is a big horse with a big man on it. The other person is almost the opposite. He's riding a pony. He's a creature of small stature. It does not seem, from this distance in the sun, you do not see the unmistakable glint of any sort of armor.
Oh my gosh, it's Master Blaster.
Who runs Bartertown? Who runs Get Dressed? Master Blaster does. And soon they come closer. They get to about 50 yards, and their horses, they stop. And I don't know what they do after that.
You do. We don't.
So they're about, I would say, probably 100 feet away from Phineas when you see they sort of rein their horses in. They're still off the map, so I don't have them.
Okay. I'll use the common time. Well, first of all, what can I tell about them from their appearance?
Well, one of them is
one's a huge fighter type.
One is a large humanoid. It doesn't look like he's wearing a helmet, but it looks like that helmet is sort of attached to the saddle horn on his thing. So, but he doesn't look like he's wearing it right now. But otherwise, he is clad, especially for this heat, which seems brutal. He's in plate mail. He's got like a cloak over it, that kind of stuff to sort of protect it. But you're thinking that dude's got to be roasted. Next to him, the littler guy is bald-headed and much smaller, and riding a much smaller horse.
Les, I think that aura that I have on me for some reason is that was the bless.
Yeah, you want me to take it off?
I'll probably end up casting blessed again, but it's certainly not on there now.
Okay.
And Les, can you remove that red aura around me too?
All right, I'm taking everybody's auras off. I'm sick of auras.
Dang right.
You got an aura? It's coming right off, like the top of a groupie. All right. Their horses sort of like stop because it's obvious that they can see you, sort of like looking at them as you guys are arrayed across the thing, across this sort of broken road.
So let me, I guess, do a knowledge check local and see if I can determine where they're from, what language they speak.
From 100 feet away?
Yeah. I have really good eyesight.
Okay. As you're looking, you see the smaller one dismount, and he walks his horse, a small horse or pony, a few steps forward, and you see him sort of like waving at you guys.
Okay, so I'll yell or use a reasonable tone voice to hail them in common tongue.
Okay, what do you say?
I say, hello, strangers.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Yeah. Girl Scout cookies, anyone?
All right. So, greetings, strangers. You go with.
Oh, for God's sake! Just greetings. Hello. How the hell are you?
All right.
Why did you say hell?
Yeah, really. Why? Why the hell?
Because I've been pushed to the brink.
Demons be gone.
That's the real reason I'm up behind him. I'm going shh, X-nay on the L-nays.
So,
I just say hello.
there's no initial response until there is.
Until there is.
Do they look like they're posed for combat, or are they just kind of?
No, they don't. So the guy in the
No, they're waiting for the thin mints. Is what they're waiting.
the guy in the plate mail hasn't dismounted yet. The other one, the littler guy, who you suspect as he sort of like begins to approach even closer, is either a gnome or potentially a halfling, is leading there, and he's still kind of like waving. You're not sure if they heard you or what.
Okay, I'll wave and then wave them
back.
Wave them in.
Okay, just like sort of like like come on this way.
Like
approach us.
And then I'll turn and make sure I've got llama in my sight in case
Okay,
What's their destination?
They slowly approach to the point where they are about.
Wow, dude.
It's so. I think Erica should say something.
Hello.
There he is.
Hello.
It's working. You're on.
I'm on.
Yes.
Hey there. You look like you've just been in a fight.
Yeah.
You hear the
Goodness,
halfling say that, and now it's definitely a halfling at this point.
What a mess.
I look around and I was like,
dead cats.
yeah, our pets got out of hand.
Wait. Have you just killed cats? I like cats. Have you killed several cats? That's terrible. I'm shocked.
You're napping.
In our defense,
wait,
these ones were rather nasty.
Well, they do look like rather large cats. Did they try to harm you?
Yes.
At this stage, we just kind of all look down and kind of.
Everybody kind of points at the tombstone.
They harmed him.
We lost one stable boy.
Yeah, they were quite ferocious and invisible.
All right, so can I also assume that the other person in armor dismounts?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and they begin to move forward, pulling their horses.
Okay, hang on. The big dude in armor doesn't have a will in his hand, does he?
Huh?
The big dude in armor doesn't look like he's got a will in his hand, does he?
A will?
A will?
A will.
Nothing.
Yes, I'm here to claim my inheritance.
I'm looking for my brother Kazir.
What have you done with him? Is that his tombstone?
Where's all his money and items?
Hand him over.
Belong to me.
Well, so they begin moving closer. I mean, they don't seem to be doing anything, obviously. I mean, the Hobbit is like, I like cats. Why did you hurt the cats? And you're like, well, they started it.
Actually, I have a terrible allergy to cats. These look like rather strange cats.
I think these cats were allergic to bladed weapons, I think.
Yeah.
I see. Well, so did these cats attack you?
Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, like 3 of them. Yeah, they were invisible and they were on us before we knew what was happening.
Goodness. Is anyone here wounded?
I think we got that taken care of.
Okay, because if
that's the one thing we can do.
Very good. Well, if you were wounded, I have a magic liquid in my pouch here that would help you if you need it.
I appreciate the offer.
We've got a dead guy.
The
If you can resurrect the dead, we could use that. That's.
I see you have a fallen comrade. That is terrible. He looks like a noble warrior. I'm sorry to see that the cats seem to have killed him.
Yeah, we were sorry too.
Messy.
Doug's laughing.
What? Yeah, we're sorry too. What's the point?
You're in luck. With his death, we have one opening in our party. Death for it.
All right, so they approach. So far, the guy in armor hasn't said anything. Although he look as he goes closer, and now they're about 20 feet away. The halfling's been doing all the talking and asking, what's been going on and that kind of stuff. The other guy who has his helmet in his hand and now is dismounted, he's obviously, I mean, he's practically twice, maybe twice and a half the size of the halfling. He's an enormous Ulfin man. You can see, he's got I want to say blonde hair and just all of the general features of a large Ulfin. That being the case, he is several thousand leagues from home, and probably roasting in that armor.
So I'm gonna ask, what brings you guys out here?
Just traveling on our way to, we're actually just wandering, not sure where we're headed. You look like you've been in a bit of trouble here. Do you need any help or assistance? Maybe, are you quite sure there are no more big undead-looking cats nearby?
If
these cats weren't undead, were they? These cats weren't undead.
Yeah, they're dead now.
Well, they're
we
dead
don't know.
now.
These cats are invisible naturally. We have a few of us that can temporarily disable that. And so we did that once they were upon us. But
I see.
We didn't see them until they were on us, and then all we could see is the ones that were close by.
I see. Well, are you sure there are no more big, rather ferocious-looking cats nearby?
No.
Not really sure.
Alma's going to poke her head out at this point and start looking because she's curious.
Now you got us thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Can anyone sense motive on these people? They ask a lot of questions.
Okay, I'm sensing motive.
I did. I'm waiting for Les to respond.
I just responded. check your Gmail text.
I'm amazing at sense motive, so it's actually not bad.
What did you roll?
A 19 sense motive.
So 19.
Just to tell if these guys are genuine.
I mean, yeah, the Hobbit, the halfling seems legitimately interested in what happened here, and legitimately curious about, what are you guys doing out here, that kind of stuff. The armored Ulfin guy has not said a word.
So if he's moved up like that, I'm gonna make sure look back, make sure I can see Llama, and then I'm gonna step up and offer my hand and say, I'm Beltran, to see if I can get the big guy to say anything.
I'll step up and take his hand. Tell him my name's Bjorn. That's Fiat. We just came from Geb's Rest, and it's not as we expected it to be.
No, that's where we were just at, right, Les?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, we just came from ourselves, and yeah.
How did you expect it? Did you expect to see a lot of undead, or?
No. I expected to see people, innkeepers, food, and drink. What I found was no people and some undead things dead in the sand.
Yeah, so we found those.
We followed the footprints out of town. hoping to find out what had happened. And it seems as though perhaps you were the ones who dealt with Geb's Rest before coming here?
Yeah, we showed up there expecting to find people, same as you. We didn't find them, and then, yeah, got ambushed by a bunch of undead. Kind of scoured the whole town, didn't find anybody alive. And so we're out here looking for stuff.
I see. Well, I am glad at least to see that you are not among the undead.
Not yet.
Have you noticed any further undead out here?
We haven't seen any undead out here, but just like I said, these cats.
These cats. These cats seem rather. What's the word? Skeletal. Do you think they might be giant, ferocious, undead cats? And are there more nearby?
I don't know. I don't know if they were undead.
Am I part of this conversation? Am I?
Yeah,
You're right there.
Yeah, all of us are.
Everybody is.
Okay. Well, then I chime in with my response to my knowledge check, and these are cats that are part of a demon, demon not controlled, but part of a herd of. They're not undead as we might say, like a zombie or a, they're from a a plane of hell kind of thing.
Goodness. Well, I'm sorry. I'm just a hobbit, and I'll just tell you, I'm an ex-slave. I am an escaped slave from Chiliax, and I'm a hobbit, and I'm a bit uptight and anxious, and so I'm just very careful. I don't want to be ambushed by undead cats or anyway. It's very unnerving being out here, and I just want to make sure that all is well.
Well, if you guys are going the same direction or trying to figure out what's going on, I look back to everyone and say, you guys are welcome to join us. And I'm waiting for anybody to shake their head no at me as I'm offering the invitation.
Well,
No hint.
If we might be of any assistance in undoing the depredations of these undead creatures, we would be glad to help.
Okay.
Sounds great.
There's safety in numbers, more targets for the enemy to go after.
Yeah, these guys seem genuinely confused. They've come up from Geb's Rest, and they obviously have seen what's there or what's not there, is the case. All the people they've come upon you guys after this fight. Suddenly there are hellcats on the road. This is all. I mean, the impression that you get from these two guys is that they're a bit confused as to what's going on, and the fact that you are honestly the only normals that they've seen anywhere near this place.
And we use the term normal, kind of,
Yeah, it's in context, but I mean, you got to figure they either figured that you guys saw the same things that you did in Geb's Rest, or you guys caused whatever happened at Geb's Rest. So they've exhibited a bit of caution, but you get the impression that they're not thinking that you guys did this. And that's Fiat's sort of offer to travel with you or ask, are you okay? That seems to indicate that it's not, that they don't necessarily suspect you of having destroyed all this stuff.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and take the time to, if no one else does it, to kind of just run through the names and kind of introduce them to everyone. I'll have Llama come out from behind the cart.
Hi.
But I'll just kind of go through and point to everyone, give them a quick name, and then a quick, 10-second bio, and that's about it. Just enough to introduce them to everyone.
Do you guys want to, since Eric is new, do you guys want to go ahead and do exactly that? Just, introduce your character's name and frankly, your own name and tell a little bit about your character real quick.
All right, I'll start.
All right.
I'm Mike. Character's Beltran. For outward appearance, he appears to just be an archer, but he's an oracle, so he's one of the 3-party healers we've got. So I kind of use bow for range damage and then heal whenever I need to.
Andrew Phineas. I'm a bard. I joined the group as a lawyer. I don't know, a few moons ago. So I'm pretty new. I'm still learning the game.
So yeah, Eric. Andrew is now that you're here. Andrew has given the coveted mantle of FNG to you. Andrew was our newest player, and he's not kidding. He actually came into the game when the party had been captured by the City Watch and brought into court to defend themselves against a variety of charges. And Andrew served as their lawyer in court in Kathir.
And we couldn't pay the third, so he's still traveling with us.
So he's still traveling with us. It's like the old story about the doctor who gave a guy 6 months to live. He couldn't pay the bill, so he gave him another 6 months. So Eric, just so you know, Andrew and I used to work together years ago and still stay in touch. Mike and I used to work together years and years ago, and Mike actually caught me at the photocopy machine making copies of D&D books, and I thought I was busted. And then he looks over and he goes, "Is that 3rd edition?" And I knew that I had found soul. So he's been playing with us ever since.
I'll go next. I'm Don Muni. I have never worked with Les Hostetler.
Never.
I have my character is an elven mage named Leonard Nimoy.
Where'd you ever get that name?
I don't know. Made it up.
And sometimes he actually accidentally blinds his own party.
They told me they wanted me to do something to make them visible.
Yeah, there's no accident in this thing here.
All right, we should have been more clear.
That's like Mike Dowd accidentally shooting Mub all those times.
Several times.
Yeah, that wasn't an accident. He was doing that shit. All right.
Okay.
Doug, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm Doug Kaufman. We've met through the whole. Thank you very much. I got my screen camera turned off. Okay. I am a human cleric. I am clad in with a leather armor with a buckler. I have an amulet around my neck. I'm carrying a couple of different weapons: light mace, short sword. I have an unusual dagger that has if you look real closely, it has a symbol of a feather on it, and yet my holy symbol is a snake. It is my deity is Yig, the father of serpents, and
this is awesome. Yeah,
and let's see. The holy symbol is a punching dagger, but one of the as I said, one of the daggers that I have is a symbol of a feather on it. And that's about it right now.
All
Welcome
right.
to the party.
Your character name is?
My character name, yes, Snapper.
All right. Dan, how about you?
I'm Dan. Hi, Eric. My character's name is Sven. I'm the character that helps open the locked doors, if you will, as well as other things that require high agility, and tend to be the archer of the group as
well. Okay. Gordon, Jennifer?
I'll go. Hi, Eric. Nice to meet you. I am a...
Can hardly hear you.
Oh. I'm a cleric of Desna, and been playing games with Les for a long time, and all these other guys too. So nice to meet you.
And is Jennifer working or?
I'm here. I'm listening. I'm Jennifer, Gordon's wife, and I found these guys through Gordon, who was buddies with Les, and those are stories he apparently isn't going to tell tonight. Although we'd all love to hear them. I am playing Llama, who is a half-orc, chaotic barbarian. And she basically hangs out with these guys because they're a lot of fun, and they let her play pretty much however she wants to with the big scimitar. So, yeah, that's it.
Great to meet you.
We're too afraid to try and stop her, so that's kind of.
Right. Eric, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Eric. I'm in DC. I build websites, and I'm a writer. I have a very spoiled cat right here.
Are you yourself allergic to cats?
I actually am, and
welcome to the club.
So, my character is Fiat Flatfoot, a hobbit. He's just he also is very good at unlocking doors and finding little mechanical traps. He was a slave. Which is a horrible thing. A slave in the land of Chiliacs. Maybe you've heard of it. Fiat has a stutter. Fiat is he's very social. He loves people. He likes to make friends, but at the same time, he's deeply scarred from his very bad experiences as a slave. And so he's wandering the land with his friend Bjorn, and he's known Bjorn for some time, and he is just trying to figure out what's next. He's a bit lost, not sure what to do with his life, and trying to figure out how to maybe heal all the mental damage that he got as a slave. And but he's also very very much into entertainment and being a storyteller, and he is an accomplished acrobat, and he loves to read, but he has a pretty mean short sword, and a like many hobbits, he has a sling, and he knows how to use it.
Well, if he's lost and trying to figure out life, then he'll fit right in with this party.
Yeah.
And if he has anything to do with cats, because this is like herding cats. It's
So, Eric, I'm noticing some similarities between your character and you. Are you also flat-footed?
I'm not, but
okay.
I do have a stutter, and I do love to read. And
you have a cat, but you're allergic to them.
Social, and I am deeply, profoundly allergic to cats, and I have a very spoiled cat right next to my left arm here.
My wife is also allergic to cats, yet she always has cats. So,
and don't let Don get under your skin, because he has cats, and he hates cats.
It's true.
It is true.
It's yeah.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Awesome. And welcome aboard, man.
Okay, Chuck. What about your character?
Yeah, Chuck,
Well-
tell us a little bit about Bjorn.
We know
For-
about you. But,
For the ultimate tie-in, when I lived in Sicily, I had a Fiat, and I pretty much became flat-footed because it kept breaking down.
That's because you kept riding the clutch.
You had to, or it wouldn't move.
That's no excuse.
All right, so the new character, since obviously Kazir died in a horrific fashion, is actually an Andorani knight. He's of Alphan heritage, but his family had to, his mother and he had to flee due to some political unrest. And for those of you who maybe haven't read up on Andoran, it reminds me of what the U.S. was when it started, with one major exception. They were formerly under Cheliak's control. They had a rebellion. They shook that off. They became an actual true democracy. The one big difference is they despise on every level slavery. So if they see slavery, they try to end it, stop it, violently so in many cases. And it's a fledgling country that's, I think by this timeline, has only been around for maybe 40, 50 years as it currently exists. So while he looks, and in some cases, I guess, speaks a little bit often, his behaviors and mannerisms are really more Andoran. And he's a knight, formerly of the Eagle Knights of the Andorani nation.
Okay.
But being in the military was a little bit claustrophobic with all the orders, and they get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, so he decided to go out on his own. He met Fiat, who was sort of another person that didn't really like hanging where he was and wanted to move around, so we've started working together because our skills complement each other.
Cool.
So what they'll also tell you is that they came through Geb's Rest, and expecting, they had been working in the south and came through Geb's Rest on an effort to get north. Geb's Rest, as you guys also know, is a place where like merchant caravans will take over, take on people to go across the Mana Waste and head north. God damn, everything's fucked up here. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tell us how you really
I'm knocking over fucking tables, my tonic water squirting all over fucking creation.
Potty mouth. Potty mouth.
Sorry. I'm soaking wet out from
Listen, we just got attacked by some cats, so temper.
All right, sorry. All right.
But
I'm
here all week.
regaining my composure here. All right. So they would have come
Looks like that. You're not going anywhere, Doug.
Geb's Rest. I'm soaked. Geb's Rest is this place where people would normally be able to hire on as a caravan person or anything like that to get across the Mana Waste relatively safely and get into Next, which is, ultimately as you're going north, it's a gateway to the southern aspects of the Inner Sea, Osirian, Kadira, and some of the other countries. It's a gateway to the north. They had obviously been in the deep south and were coming north. It would make total sense for these guys to come to Geb's Rest. Obviously somebody who's an archer, perhaps knows a little bit about scouting, and another guy who is an armored warrior from the Andoran forces would have been valuable to a caravan master crossing the Mana Wastes. But when they got there, they found the same thing that you guys did: an empty town, a couple of dead bodies in the street, and a lot of questions. So what they would tell you is that they began moving northward along the road because it seemed like the obvious thing to do. They looked in the inn and saw that there had been people there. They stocked up themselves on whatever was left and began moving forward and saw you guys in the distance on the road and began coming forward. But they weren't in time to assist you in the battle. They didn't, frankly, even know that there was a battle going on until they had gotten very close and saw the dead creatures and that kind of stuff. And as Fiat pointed out, suddenly there's a bunch of people standing around and 3 large dead cats in the road. That sort of you don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to sort of puzzle through that one.
We didn't figure it out, so.
We walked right into that trap.
So what do you guys do?
Well,
So you've got these 2 new guys. I mean, are you guys going to rest, or are you guys going to keep carrying on? Because remember, you're still about a day to a day and a half away from where the maps and the journals say Rijanna's camp is.
I've still got most of my spells, so I don't know how the other casters are, but I would suggest we keep going.
Yeah, I'm fine. Is everybody healed up? I mean, does anyone need anything? Because
Sven's good.
Okay, I have a very important question. Does anybody have any wine?
That is a very important question.
I think we're fresh out.
Oh no!
Fresh out?
I have a smoking pipe and some tobacco, and in fact, I do have. Why? Why do you? Before I wait. Whoa.
You had wine, Doug.
Yeah.
You had wine. Wait, where's my wine? It's gone. Glug, 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 glug comes from the back of it.
Oh, just asking. Les, what time of day?
Is it right now? Probably about midday. It's pretty hot out, but there's still a fair amount of time left in the day. These guys left Geb's Rest not too long before you guys did, and so I mean, just maybe a couple hours, 3 or 4 hours difference. So it's probably coming about noon or 1 o'clock. Heat of the day. It's pretty. There's not a lot of cover out here. So Bjorn, you especially are suffering a little bit from the heat. It's not enough where you would start taking non-lethal damage, but it's uncomfortable, especially in that massy plate mail.
That's a knight's life.
Bjorn, are you staying hydrated?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. If you need anything, let me know. Friends, I would love to get to the root of this terrible evil that we have seen here. I vote we press on.
Okay, that's 2.
Okay.
Just my 2 hobbit cents.
Right, so you guys are going to keep moving forward towards Rijanna's camp. I mean, so here's a question: do you guys fill in Fiat and Bjorn about this whole Rijanna thing?
We can do that as we're walking.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and give them the tip off? And because
I think you should. Ours will be, horribly flawed because our memory.
Okay. So as you guys are walking northward, and I assume that you guys are leading your horses as opposed to riding them.
Yeah.
These guys will tell you basically that they work for a Qadiran merchant named Master Bashir, and he sent them out here to check on the safety and status of one of the people that he sponsors. And they'll explain to you that he has interest in many different places, and one of his interests has been in scholarship, especially a variety of esoteric scholarship. And one of his scholars that he personally sponsors as a patron, is a woman named Rijanna, who was very much interested in the anti-magical effects that persist in the mana wastes. She'd been doing a variety of research, including trying to figure out ways to counteract the effect, and had written a variety of books in this case, under his sponsorship, under his patronage, and was continuing her research. The problem was that having before been very, 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 very routine and regular about her messages back to Master Bashir, status updates and things like that, she hadn't sort of reported back for several weeks. And Master Bashir at first was like, well, it's probably some sort of issue or problem that she can't have, but she was very much a capable woman. He figured that whatever she was facing was over with, she would return and begin her messages again. But it didn't happen for several weeks. There were problems with scrying her, and so he decided to send these guys out to sort of just find her, check on her, make sure everything was okay, and get to the bottom of the reason why she hadn't been returning, her messages on the thing. They came to the town of Geb's Rest, which was where Master Bashir had last heard she was, and found the place deserted. And not only that, found a body in the fountain, which they believed to be this Rijanna. They found, and the reason they believe it to be her, is that they found several books in a backpack near in the fountain, which were not very much damaged because of the nature of the backpack, but and the condition of the fountain, frankly. But which they were able to ascertain were one of those books was one of the ones that Master Bashir had pointed out that he wanted retrieved, and was definitely belonged to her. And in that, it talked a little bit about how she had made camp. She had discovered a stele, which is which, as you know, is sort of a stone obelisk with words on it, and that she believed it had some information or was key to some of the ways to perhaps defang some of these anti-magic shells in the waste. She was going to perform a ceremony that she pointed out, a Kellish ceremony in Old Kellish, which Kazir had said that she had looked to him that she had mistranslated, maybe. But she'd also given the location of her camp, which was about a day and a half to 2 days walk away from Geb's Rest into the wastes. And so the party had decided to follow up on that information and headed for her campsite.
Interesting.
Yeah,
is that accurate? I mean, does anybody have
said.
anything to add to that? I mean,
Interesting. It sounds like a serious situation. I'm dismayed to learn of the demise of Ms.
Rijanna.
Rojan.
We'll say, oh, it gets worse. By the way, we think there's some time traveling people who are trying to come back and take over everything.
Time travelers? Time travelers.
When her thing messed up, unless you got to correct me, because this is my memory, which is, I'm sure, very faulty.
Okay.
Didn't you say that she had actually gone back in time or something?
Oh yeah.
So her body, so so when you guys examine the body, it was very interesting. Her body did not seem to have any wounds on it. What it seemed like it had been is mummified, like it had been desiccated or mummified by either an incredibly concentrated volume of dry air or some drying effect, or by the passage of time in a dry environment. Which is very strange because according to what Master Bashir had told you, she had only been out of communication with Master Bashir for about 6 to 8 weeks. And so based on the condition of the body, assuming that it's her, which you guys do assume, there's no way that was an 8-week-old corpse. It looked like a 200-year-old corpse. And further, when you guys were in Geb's Rest, you ended up fighting some guys, which were some sort of undead, but they were all dressed in similar garb, which Phineas recognized as being Gebian military, like uniforms, not uniforms, but military garb from about 500 or 600 years before. And they were, here now. Now these guys were not. The general consensus was that they were undead, but the condition of their kit seemed almost new, which you would never find in a 500 or 600-year-old soldier. It was all very strange, and there seemed to be some sort of element of time travel in it.
What sorcery is this?
Exactly.
The worst kind, the kind you don't understand.
Yeah, we have no clue. But we're trying to get to this because apparently there's something we can do that would stop this invasion. If we find all of our notes and do the ritual correctly, like she was trying to do.
So Kazir you guys will remember that Kazir was able to do actually some of the he was able to translate some of the things that he thought were errors in her book because he was a native Kellishite and could speak both Old and New Kellish, and was able to sort of put down some of his notes, which you have, thankfully.
Interesting. Hmm. Um.
If there's nothing else, I say we could start heading that direction.
All right. If everyone is in agreement, you guys will pick up, police up everything, set Kazir's tombstone straight, and head up the road. You spend the rest of the day walking, and you don't encounter any other problems.
Was there anything in the wagon?
No, I already checked it out.
Completely empty and relatively undamaged. It wasn't like this. So that's an interesting thing about the wagon. I'm glad you brought that up. The wagon itself seemed relatively undamaged. I mean, the only damage that it incurred looked like it had incurred when someone tipped it over. It didn't look looted or burned or anything like that. There were a few boxes kind of kicking around, but they were all empty. And it looked basically from your mind, and I don't know, how many of you are competent horsemen or anything like that, or wagoneers, but it basically looked like this was a wagon that was out on the road. Someone unhitched the horses and tipped it over. And frankly, tipped it over rather gently in order to block the road like this.
Well, do we need a wagon?
No.
Well, we all have horses that were gifted to us. And I think my horse was the only one that I took to cart a wagon. We're not using it at the moment, but.
So that's a good question. Did you guys bring your horses out here?
I don't think the horses are there because they got teleported.
Didn't we teleport here?
Yeah, that's right. So the horses are back home safe and sound, except for Bjorn and Fiat, who have a large horse and a pony, respectively.
Oh, if anybody's pack is too heavy, my pony, Drop Dead Gorgeous, has some spare room in his saddlebags.
I love that name. All my ponies from now on are going to be named Drop Dead Gorgeous. I'm just going to call them DDG1, DDG2. All right, so you guys move on. You guys move, and you spend the rest of the afternoon walking. It's uncomfortable. It's hot. Periodically, those of you who are magic users will notice that you begin to feel certain areas, small at first, but then growing larger as you go deeper into the wastes, of where you feel your magic just sort of vaporize, and you can't cast spells. Nolan, you will try a few very quick, quick, 0 level spells just to see what work, and nothing. Same for you, Phineas. What spells you have, they won't work. Spell-like abilities and stuff like that will still work, but it's very disconcerting for those that you.
So every time I hit an area where I do feel my magic come back, I'm gonna make sure that everyone's water skins are topped off.
All right, so you use them, create water, make sure.
Yeah. So basically, as soon as I feel it, I'll let everybody know. Okay.
Is this just arcane magic or divine magic as well?
Both.
All right. Well, and I want to make sure we have. I'll do what Mike's character does too. Is make sure that we have enough food and water and that kind of thing.
Okay. You guys end up finding a place that magic still works, where you decide to, and it's right on the road where you decide to just camp, and you build a fire and that kind of stuff, and you set some watches, but you pass the night undisturbed. There doesn't seem to be anyone out here, which frankly is a little bit weird. It's it's the same feeling that you got kind of when you went into Geb's Rest, where there's supposed to be people around and there's not, and it's a little bit sort of end of the worldish, but a little weird all the same, because you would normally feel like that you would see people out here, not a lot certainly, but you're on a primary road that goes through the Mana Waste, and there's no people at all. Night passes, nothing happens. You guys get an early start, pack up, top off the skins, make a little breakfast, and then head out. And about You have to go most of the day. So about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you guys are looking at the book and trying to figure out that. And you do see what looks to be some sort of pavilion off the road, probably 200 yards off the road in the distance, some sort of pavilion in the general area of where you think that that Rijanna indicates where she had her camp. Now, when you're on the road, you're in another one of those like anti-magic bubbles. But when you get if you approach the pavilion, when you get about 100 feet off of the road, magic comes back and you.
Yeah, we approach the pavilion.
Yeah.
Okay. You gonna go ahead and approach the pavilion?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So you guys get out. You guys
Keep your eyes open.
kind of walk out there. You guys keep your eyes open, but frankly, you feel like it's kind of a waste of time because there is nothing out here. A couple of tumbleweeds and that kind of stuff. But when you get to the pavilion, you find a couple of things. One, you see a cold fire pit and stacks of well-organized gear and supplies. And next to the fire pit, a couple of what look to be books that have blown open, and there's some papers kind of screwing around what looks to be a small, about 4 feet tall, and about maybe a foot in diameter, circular stone monolith. The monolith, which is made of this white stone and carved and inked in black, looks like it's inscribed with runes, and the runes match what you guys read in Rijanna's journals. It is covered top to bottom in these runes and carvings and markings and what look to be writings in some ancient language. There's the pavilion, which you peek into, and it contains a well-used but high-quality collection of camping gear that looks like it has been here for a while. There's sand that is pushed into the pavilion itself. And everything out sort of around the fire pit, which is dead and cold and has been for a long time, is sort of covered with this like reddish dust and sand from the thing. Now hold that thought. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
All right.
So, does anyone read the runes?
And it looks like all her stuff has been left here. So we want to be really careful about this obelisk. We don't want a lot of time passing for ourselves. We don't want to end up in that, the fountain.
Yeah.
Upon close inspection of the monolith, we discern the letters IKEA.
Yeah.
Oh, I want some Swedish meatballs.
We have to put it together without any instructions.
Right.
I guess we
should gather the books and take a look at them.
Okay. I really like books. I'm a reader. I love to read. Can I check out those books?
Yeah, Les, we're going to let Fiat check out the books first.
Okay. Fiat, you go over to those and you pull them out of the sand.
Unless they have pictures, and the rest of us will check them out.
Perfect. So, Fiat, you go over to the books and you pull them out of the sand. They're actually, when you, at first they don't look to be very big, but when you go to grabbing them, it's sort of like pulling a tooth. Suddenly you realize that you're in the possession of what are pretty substantive books. And both of them are pretty big. You sort of brush the sand and the reddish dust off them, and you can see that they are journals. And you flip open the leather covers to the title page, and you can see one of them is called Translation of the Mana Waste Stele, and the other one is called Flora, Fauna, and Hazards of the Mana Wastes. And they're both signed as being authored by Rijanna of Osirian.
I would love to read these. I love reading. It's one of what I love most. I would love to read these books and know everything about them. Is there any?
What language are they written in?
They're written in actually several languages. Some of it is in Osirian, some is in Common, some in Kadiran. But if Fiat, when you flip to the back of the first book, the one that says Translations of the Manaway Stele, you can see that there is a variety of notations, including what looks to be a translation of the Kelish writing on the small obelisk that you guys that is at the center of this camp. And you also read that there's what looks to be some sort of magical writing as well. Now, you yourself, I don't know, are proficient in being able to read magical writing, but you certainly recognize it when you see it.
Do you share the title of those books that you find with the party?
Am I able to perceive the titles?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can read them easily.
Okay. What are they?
Oh, sorry. The title of the first one is, Translations of the Mana Wastes Stele. And the second one is Flora, Fauna, and Hazards of the Mana Wastes.
Gotcha.
They're both, the authorship is both Rijanna of Osirian. And the hand is the same.
And we're supposed to bring those back, right?
I was going to say, because if he shares the title of those, and that's like, hey, those are two of the books that we're supposed to be looking for.
Those are two of the books that you're supposed to be looking for.
Okay. Can I try to see if there are any clues or anything strange about the books? Because, commonly somebody who is in trouble or who is trying to send a message might leave in a book some sort of symbol or sign, or can I?
Yeah, absolutely. Give me either a knowledge linguistics, which I don't know if you have, or a perception check as you read those. So the perception check is basically a D20 plus the perception bonus for your character, which
okay.
Fine.
So, in my browser, in my app.roll20.net screen, do I go to the dice?
Yeah, the little dice.
Okay.
So,
D20.
Yeah, you want to choose D20, but you want to do in the so your perception is plus 13. So 5 plus 13 is 18. So you roll an 18. So you're as you were looking at these, and you feel like you got a good idea there to check it. You do find there was a portion in the back, in the rear of these books. So the first one, Flora, Fauna, and Hazards of the Mana's Waste, seems pretty rudimentary. You don't find anything really super interesting there. It's a detailed account of various monsters, plants, and normal animals that live in the Mana Waste. Huh?
Does it mention large cats?
It does not mention large cats. But it does mention a variety of animals and stuff like that. It's all written in the same hand, but it seems to be mostly a bestiary, a naturalist's look. As you were looking through the other one, though, you get to the rear of it, and after the translation of the stele into Kelish, and some magical writing which you cannot interpret, you do find a small notation below the magical writing which says, "Making my first attempt tomorrow. Worried that if I activate the stele and I don't like the results, I may not be able to deactivate it. I am pretty sure the incantation I've copied on this page, when read backwards, will return this stele to normal if performed. I will test this later." And that's where the notation ends.
Okay, okay. I'm confident she is not dead. She's just moving around in time, and she's up to something she's trying. She is trying to find something. What is she trying to find?
Well, what the guys will tell you is that. Well, yeah, the first thing they'll say is like, look, we saw her body. We're pretty sure it's her. To the extent that we can tell, it matches her description, and her book was found on it. Now, it could be a ruse, but we think she might be dead.
Okay. I hear ya. You know, maybe I'm just uptight, but I don't think she's dead. But maybe she is. Rest in peace. I feel like there's something I'm missing here. Maybe I've missed something inside these books.
I ask everyone to kind of stand back a little bit. I'm going to stand about 60 feet away and detect magic on the obelisk.
The obelisk radiates evocation magic. Pretty strong evocation magic, too. You get the impression that it's the obelisk that is ensuring that magic works nearby.
Okay.
That otherwise that you might continue to be in one of those anti-magic fields that exist in the mana wastes, but that this obelisk seems to be pushing that back.
Okay.
So she was right about that. Something did go wrong. You said there was something, I'm assuming that he shared this with us. There was something in there about this is how we'd be able to undo it in case it went wrong.
Reverse it if it goes wrong, how to turn it off.
Yeah, but I mean, you share that with him, right? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so basically he'll show you the book, and it says, you know, underneath what is obviously magical writing, some sort of magic. There's a notation that says, making my first attempt tomorrow, and there's a date next to it, which is about 9 weeks ago. And then it says, I'm worried that if I activate the stele and don't like the results, I may not be able to deactivate it. I'm pretty sure the incantation I've copied on this page, when read backwards, will return this stele to normal if performed. I will test this later. And that's where the entry stops.
I bet she's wishing she would have tested that now.
Would anyone care for me to read the incantation backwards and see what happens?
Yes.
I'm gonna stand back.
And stand back.
And I'm standing back.
Well, all right. So when you guys say stand back, are you talking about like you're going to be 5 feet away from the stele, or are you talking about you're going back to Gab's Rest?
Everyone else get 120 feet away because that's a good distance for our ranged magic.
All right, at 120 feet, you're going to have to yell for them to hear you.
No. They're getting back. I'm going to stand closer to do the incantation.
All right.
Actually, you know, I'm feeling brave. I'm going to stand up right next to Leonard, and I'm going to be right there in case trouble happens.
I'm going to be 100 feet away, smoking a pipe.
Thinking about how you got into this stupid line of work.
That's right. This has got failure written all over it. That's okay.
It's like I was a perfectly good cleric of the snake god. Everything was going fine, and then I hitched my wagon to these guys' star. What the hell was I thinking?
Les, I'm going to stand 25 feet away from the obelisk.
From the stele, okay.
From the stele. And read the incantation backwards.
Backwards, okay. All right, so everyone else is going to, except for Fiat, who's near Leonard, right?
Yes.
Right.
Everyone else is going far away, at least 100 feet?
Well, I am. Snapper is.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm by Llama.
Yeah, Llama's backing up. She's going to just enjoy the show.
Okay, the fireworks.
Scimitar out, though.
Bjorn, what about you?
Yeah, me and my horse are going to be far away from this catastrophe.
Jennifer, is that a picture of your camper in there? Is that what I'm seeing?
It's the bottom of the computer.
No, Don, it's
Doug.
it's wherever my.
It looks like something out of Star Wars.
Yeah. No,
No,
it looks
I
like
just-
a king.
I'm in no condition to be on camera.
Oh, come on.
Come on, I'm wearing a hoodie.
That doesn't stop the rest of us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
no kidding.
Yeah, no.
All right. So,
Just take my "you're welcome."
so you guys back up. Fiat and Leonard, you guys are about 25 feet away from the stele. And Leonard, you're holding the book in your hand, and you're going to read the incantation backwards and perform it backwards to see what happens. You begin speaking the words, and you immediately feel the crackle of magical energy, sort of, springing up out of the ground. And you look up at the stele, and you can see it's a white stele. I mean, so it's whitish stone, pale stone, and the runes carved in it, which are in many cases very sort of small and delicate and frankly finely carved, have this sort of like black paint sort of dug into it, so that they're in high relief. You can see what looked to be sort of this purplish energy kind of like skittering about it. It doesn't come out at you, but you can see it, and there's like a little bit of a glow there. You continue to speak this incantation, and it seems, if anything,
Suddenly your dick flies off.
Suddenly your dick flies off. And you're like, my elven eyes see my dick flying away. The rest of you, 100 feet away, see Leonard's dick fly off. And, suddenly there's you're like, well, I think this adventure's done. Let's go back. We've had enough. His dick stays where it's at, but there's a lot of like you can see sort of like this weird glow coming off the stele, which you can see pretty clearly. And it's hard to see because of the daylight and that kind of stuff. But what looks to be, at least for some of you, these sort of purplish rays kind of shooting up. Leonard, you do not see these, but back 100 feet away, the rest of you see these sort of like diffuse, kind of like shitty lasers kind of coming off of it and going up into the sky. Leonard, you get to the end of the incantation, and you sort of like look up, and you have the book in your hand, and you feel this sort of electrical tingle sort of taking place. It's all around you. Fiat, you feel it too. But then you sort of look at the stele, and you see this purple glow and the little sort of like electrical sparks and stuff like that. And then, but after about 30 seconds or a minute, you can see the sort of purple glow sort of dissipates. The sparking and the electrical sort of the purple arcs kind of like stop for a while, and those of you far behind sort of stop seeing these sort of these weird like laser like rays that were shooting up into the sky. Those stop as well, and eventually things seem to return to normal. And you don't see any real change.
Detect magic again.
You detect magic. You still get the same sort of evocation radiation from the stele. It radiates powerful magic. You get the impression that it is continuing to sort of form a bulwark against the anti-magic effect of the waste itself. You see Fiat sort of like pull out his sword during about halfway through the incantation, and he's kind of looking around. But yeah, other than it did something, but it didn't seem to.
Yeah, it's safe now. Fiat, go ahead and investigate.
All right. So Fiat, what are you going to do? You're going to go check the obelisk.
Okay. I'm gonna approach the obelisk and search for traps.
Okay, so hold on a second. All right, your trap. You use a perception check. So your perception is +3. So go ahead and roll the dice, a d20 + 13 as your perception check. Okay, 15 + 13 is 28. You do not see any traps on the obelisk. If anything, it seems to be a solid piece of stone. It doesn't seem to be emanating any of that sort of pseudo-electrical energy that you saw either earlier when Leonard was doing the incantation.
Looks
Yeah.
clear.
Hey, Les, can you kind of refresh again what she said to us when she was back in time? What those creatures, what she found out about them, and how she ended up in the.
Oh, when you guys brought her back?
Yeah.
She told you. Did anybody write that down? Because
Of course not.
Because I'll be blunt, I didn't. I do not have any notes on this. So, do you guys remember the questions?
Wasn't it in one of your digests?
It might be. Let me check. Let's go to the website. Now, see, now you guys always laugh. You guys laughed at me, but now you know that they're having.
I'm pretty sure it was in a digest.
We're still going to laugh at you, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, by the way, I just want to let you guys know that it was Eric who helped me get all these websites up and running.
Yay! Thank you, Eric.
Absolutely invaluable. I was super pissed off about all of it, and Eric sort of showed me the way on this thing. So, thanks again to him.
Oh, hey, Les, your image is still missing on me on my computer for that recap from 127.
Really?
Yeah, it's still not working. Just that one. All the images on the other ones are working. It's just that one that I've gone to anyway.
All right, I will check that out. So I do not have this for some reason. Maybe it's I don't know what's going on. Hold on. I don't have it. I don't think I have it here. I'm looking at the B team recaps and stuff like that, and I do not think I have it.
Is that one still posted?
We can.
Is the video still posted?
I was going to say we can go back and watch the video.
We can go back to watch the video. I will.
It's 11 o'clock now.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Time flies. All right. Tell you what. I will go back through the videos and find out what was said, and I will post that and send it out to everybody. But then we will let's stop here at the stele, and we will restart this. When is the next time we will we play B team on the schedule? Hold on a second.
Where is that schedule now, Les? Is that on the late night?
I've been putting it on late
Tiny Batman and late night.
Yeah, it's on Tiny Batman, I think. Let me double check. It might be on bobsdeathcampaign.com. Hold on a second.
I know it's on Tiny Batman.
It's okay. It's Tiny Batman then. So, view all events. Our next B team is slated for April 7th.
Okay.
So 3 weeks from tonight, I believe.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
Night all.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
Hi, guys.
Welcome, Eric. Glad to have you.
Welcome, Eric.
Yeah, welcome, Eric.
Thank you.
Let me check.
Eric, you fool.
You fool. You've done it now. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks.
Let's hang on for a second.
All right, we'll do. I'm going to kill the recording, though, because probably what you want to talk to me about shouldn't be recorded.
All right. Thanks, friends.
Yep.
Thanks, man. Talk soon.
All right. Take care. And boom.